Hamburger advocate and convicted felon Hamburglar denounced a prison system he called robble as he testified before the Senate subcommittee on penal reform. Hamburglar, convicted in 1998 of breaking and entering a McDonald's hamburger franchise in South Beloit, Wisconsin, and currently serving a sentence of 3 to 5 years, made this impassioned plea before being interrupted by U.S. Senator Bob Smith of Rhode Island.
Certainly there is room for improvement in our prison system, but I would hardly call the current situation robble.
After delivering his message to the subcommittee, Hamburglar was promptly placed in chains and returned to prison to serve out the remainder of his sentence in solitary confinement. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Next day, they found aliens.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we invite you to join us right here. The toll-free number, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Live Saturday edition of the show. We've got Skype if you want to Skype into the show. Our Skype username is lrn.fm, so feel free to reach out to us in whatever way you want. It is Veterans Day, apparently, and Mark has a story we're going to get into here shortly about yet another. I mean, it's like these stories just keep on happening over and over again, and we can talk about why that is. But yet another veterans hospital that is just an absolute hellscape. I haven't read the piece, Mark. You're going to be sharing that with us here in moments. It actually strikes close to home. We do the show from New Hampshire. Apparently, this particular hospital is in New Hampshire. So, but it's not necessarily just this one hospital, because again, this story just keeps on coming up at different hospitals, and all these nasty, horrifying conditions are revealed, and we'll reveal some of that coming up here in moments. Again, our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. With you tonight, by the way, you've got Ian,
Will, and Mark.
Will Coley joining us here on a Saturday night. Longtime listeners of the Saturday show may remember way back when we had you on for an entire show on Skype for an entire show. And you did an Ask a Muslim because you are a Muslim. Yeah. And you're a very good communicating kind of Muslim. You're great at explaining Islam to people who might not know a thing or two about it. So, of course, since Will's here,
officially an imam now.
Right. You're actually an imam. You're opening up a mosque here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. That's a bit of a process and a whole other story on its own. In fact, we've got video about that particular story, and that's completely... I haven't published it yet, but maybe we'll publish it during the show tonight if we get a chance.
Inshallah.
So there's a lot to do here, but we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts first. Again, toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom. We've got Christopher Cantwell on the line with us from the Albemarle County Jail after he had a hearing this week after being held as a political prisoner, Chris, for, a couple months now? I'm sure you've been counting the days. How long has it been that you've been in custody there?
Today makes 81 days that I've been in the custody of the Albemarle Charlottesville Regional Jail, and the only reason that I've been in here is because my accusers lied. And on Thursday, we had that hearing, and my accusers were basically laughed out of the courtroom by the judge. It was so obvious that they were lying that they dropped the 2 charges that I was accused of hurting them. They're still charging me with a Class 3 felony, claiming that basically when I pepper sprayed the one guy, which was in self-defense, they're acting as though I had pulled the pin on a tear gas grenade and thrown it into a crowd.
Now, for listeners that may not be familiar, don't know the name offhand, it was this August when you, Chris, you left your home in Keene, New Hampshire, and you traveled down to Charlottesville, Virginia, where you engaged in a protest with some members of the alt-right. Now, whether those members are white nationalists, racists, or just people on the alt-right, there was probably a mix of all of those groups in there. You yourself are an admitted racist, and that's the reason why we kicked you off of Free Talk Live a couple of years ago, because you were a former co-host.
I'm a racist, I'm a white nationalist, and I can't wait to get back to Keene so we can have the crying Nazi and the redneck Muslim all in the same place. We're going to be quite the cast of characters there. The Colbert Report can't get back to Keene fast enough, fellas.
So, but regardless of your opinion about race, you don't deserve to be behind bars pre-trial for a crime that you turned yourself in for these accusations. You went and you turned yourself in, and for your upfrontness, you were rewarded with no bail conditions whatsoever, as though you're some sort of a flight risk. And it's ridiculous.
Which is obviously not true. I'm internationally famous thanks to Vice News. It's not like being in New Hampshire helps me escape Virginia justice. And I've said from the beginning that I've been looking forward to my day in court, and after Thursday, you can see why. I knew that these people were lying. It's obvious there was video of it, and as soon as we showed the video, it was like these people were terrified that they were going to get locked up for perjuring themselves. They signed falsified statements that were sworn in front of magistrates and investigators. So. I was largely vindicated. I still have to go beat the one.
So what is this other charge? So the two charges that were dropped were what? What did they drop, and what's the one that remains?
Malicious injury by caustic agent or explosive. They were saying that when I pepper sprayed this guy, that I also pepper sprayed these other people. Now, what actually happened was these people said they smelled pepper spray or something like that during this riot that they initiated against us, and since they smelled pepper spray and then they saw a picture of me pepper spraying on someone on social media, they said that I attacked them with my pepper spray, which was nonsense, and there's video of the entire thing, and they were proven to be liars. And so, and the other problem with it is that the prosecutor in this case, Robert Tracy, Tracii, is basically some social justice warrior. He's like a disaffected fan of the radical agenda who listens to every episode and hates me like his life depends on it.
So the one charge they have left for you is just you pressed a button on a pepper spray device, not necessarily even that it did damage to another human being. What's the exact charge they're hitting you with there? Well,
the person that I did pepper spray, they have identified him, but he won't come forward and press charges because he knows that he's a violent criminal who attacked somebody and was about to attack me.
Okay.
They're saying that because when I pepper sprayed him, like in the video you can see I pepper spray him. Now, in my mind, this all happens very fast. It's all one motion. But you see, like, I pepper spray him, I come back, and then I come back in. And when I come back in, the pepper spray, like, goes in the air, okay? And they're acting like this was a dispersal into the air to harm innocent people, which is nonsense. It's basically saying, like, I'm not good at pepper spraying people. Sorry, I don't do this very frequently, fellas.
So the charge, I have not read the charge itself in the statutes in a while. I seem to recall that just like as long as you have and release pepper spray, that's a crime in Virginia. Is that what they're saying?
It is, but there's a justification, right? It's just like you can't discharge a firearm in the city of Keene unless you're firing in self-defense, right? So this is the same thing. You can't just spray pepper spray for no reason, right? You have to have a justification, and I do. You can see in this iconic photo that's been all over social media of me pepper spraying this guy dead in the face. There's a guy in a white tank top who's bleeding out of his head behind me. That guy was just fighting. That guy just attacked this guy, right? So then when this guy gets up off the ground and he's lunging towards me, I pepper sprayed him before he could attack me. So the fact that it went into the air in the process of it, like I said, I'm sorry I don't pepper spray people very frequently, Robert Tracy. I'll try to be better at it next time. But,
well, presumably there won't be a next time in Virginia because, as you said earlier, you wished you hadn't gone to Virginia in the first place.
Especially after this election. I never want to come back to this state again. I advise every white male to get out of here as fast as possible.
So, Chris, what's the next step here? Is there another court date that's been set?
I'm waiting to hear what my next court date is, and frankly, like we started off calling on GoFundMe.com was my 1433 rescue fund. Now it's the Justice Fund. We're going on the offense now. Okay, these people have nothing on me, and they know it, and we're going to make fools out of them, and I'm going to get paid before this thing is over.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the people that brought charges against you fallaciously, and I don't care what your political beliefs are. Somebody who attempts to use the justice system against somebody in an unjust way, as far as I'm concerned, deserves the time that the person
had to sit.
Well, not they had to sit that they were facing. If the guy,
I was facing 5 to 20 on each of those charges, so each of them should be facing 5 to 20 on their perjury.
But they're not going to. They're probably not even going to be brought up on charges.
Exactly.
At this point.
One of my accusers is a transgender fanatic. Okay, these people are the kings of the victim Olympics. They can do whatever they want, and the communists will help them. But I'll tell you what, that's not going to fly in civil court. I'm going after these people, and everybody else out there who thinks that you could just step all over people like me. You got another thing coming.
Christopher Cantwell, thanks for the update here tonight. Appreciate the call. I'm going to put you on hold briefly here. We'll talk off the air. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Regardless of what you think of his politics or his nationalist beliefs and his racism, you gotta admit, I mean, the dude should not be in jail pre-trial like this.
Lawfare is wrong, regardless of who it's being targeted at.
All right, there's more on the way here. It is the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. Coming up, we got Veterans Day related news with this horrifying conditions discovered, or at least revealed publicly now in another veterans hospital here in the United States. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to you is to never let fire into your home and make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the Bigot no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Live Saturday edition. It is the Veterans Day edition of the show. We got some veteran-related news coming up with another horrific Veterans Hospital that Mark will be telling us about. Joining you in the studio, it's Ian,
Will,
and Mark.
And Mark, tell me about your Blink Protect home security system.
Yeah, well, it's a home security system. It's very low cost. Anybody can install this thing. I think I did it in about 10 minutes. All you have to do is hook it into your router, then wirelessly the cameras are connected. You may mount them on the wall. You may just set them on something. You get a view of either the interior or the exterior of the house. If something moves at the prescribed times that you set, then you'll get a notification. You can also check in with the cameras anytime you want to just see what's going on. So if I want to see what is the cat doing at my house, which I don't, but if I did, I would just turn on the camera and take a look.
Does the cat set it off?
Yes.
Okay.
If she's in, she will set it off.
Got it.
If it's dark, she should be out doing her job.
Got it.
But that's a barn cat. What do you want? Supposed to be a barn cat, but turns out she likes to be inside. Anyway, they make it easy for you, and it's a great deal. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. You'll get 3 cameras in your set for the price that the other guys charge for one. blinkprotect.com/FTL as in Free Talk Live.
All right, we continue with your calls and thoughts. In case Chris Cantwell wasn't enough, here is Scott the Bigot. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Scott.
Good evening, Ian, Mark, and Will. How are you?
It was good until you called, Scott. Go ahead.
God.
Happy Veterans Day to everyone, and I want to say that I admire Christopher Cantwell. He's my hero. I see a mirror image in him, a lot of things that I see. And
well, the difference is Chris Cantwell actually gets out of the house. He may have the same level of hate in his heart as you do, but at least he's not living with his mom.
Well, I'm gonna, I'm glad you mentioned that. My dad is a veteran. He was a veteran. He died 3 months ago. And talking about my mom, she's in a wheelchair. I don't say this to get a sob story. I put my cards on the table so you know where I'm coming from. I want to thank the veterans out there, those that are lucky to be alive, for fighting for America, their service to America, because without that, we would not...
Hold on. I thought you've called recently and said that you hate America and that,
yes,
the government is corrupt.
I do hate America, but let me finish. Just because I hate America does not mean that I have to take it out on these poor veterans. They've been duped and brainwashed. They've taken their marching orders. They end up at, like Walter Reed Army Hospital, amputees, blinded, paralyzed, all dupes of this government. So I have compassion for them. It's the government that I hate, not the veterans.
Why can you find compassion for veterans, but not for people who are a different skin color or religious belief than you?
Well, let me explain. Regarding, if I could finish on the veterans, these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Middle East, let's be very frank about it. They are dying and losing limbs because of our alliance with Israel, because of our
You have an alliance with Israel?
Government. What's that?
You have an alliance with Israel?
No.
I mean, he's talking about the fact
the United States government is allied with Israel. It's joined to the hip with
government,
Israel.
right. Because I'm not them. I just want to be clear. I'm not the government, so please don't include me in all this discussion.
I mean the United States government. And let's be honest, the reason why these veterans are dying is because they take their marching orders from Washington, D.C. Our federal government tells them that they have to go to Iraq or Syria, some hellhole. They have to do it, and they're doing it in large part because of the AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or the Jewish lobby, if you will, that wields enormous power in the United States.
No, they're doing it because look, there's not a whole lot that we agree on, but I I certainly don't agree with you on your racist and bigoted premises, but I do agree with you that most of the troops have been duped. They have been they've been sold a bill of goods, and thank you for the call tonight, Scott. They've been sold a bill of goods about how they're protecting freedom, and the way you protect freedom is you sign up and you get told what to do. That just doesn't seem to make much sense to me. How is it that you're protecting any freedom when you've signed away your own freedom to an organization that, if you don't like what they tell you to do, is going to put you in a prison cell?
It's actually one of the ways that they sell it to you, like when they talk to you, is that you are giving up your
individuality.
Well, it's one of the things that helps create that us versus them mentality with the military. Like, you are the civilians, we are the military, and that whole separation is that you're told in the military you don't have rights. You give up your rights so that the people can have rights. You give up your First Amendment right to free speech. You give up your rights and your right to search and all of this stuff.
That seems like a load of crap to me.
You sign all of it away in a contract.
Yep.
You don't have rights. You have a contract. And
it's a one-sided contract where they can change the rules anytime they want.
Exactly.
They'll suggest to you that you're going to get medical care forever and ever, or something
or free
like that.
Schooling or whatever.
Right. They'll give you there'll be a whole bunch of claims that they don't.
Worthless when you finally get out.
They tend not to necessarily. Some people they own up to it, and other people they don't feel like they've got their just desserts and that sort of thing.
Talking about the education thing, right? I've got this guy that I years and years ago I used to work at Outback Steakhouse. And there was a fry cook there, and he was going to college. He was working his way through college after doing 7 years in the Navy, where he was taking apart billion-dollar airplanes and putting them back together on aircraft carriers. But after he got out of the military, when you get out of the military, everybody's going to want to hire you thing that they sold him. He had to go to college to learn how to take. Because his military credentials didn't mean jack
in the
marketplace. They were like, no, you need to go to college and get a bachelor's degree.
That's not an uncommon story.
Yeah, and he went specifically because he thought that they would teach him how to work on these planes, and that when he got out, that would be it, and he could give like room and board and all this stuff. And it was peacetime back then. There was no Iraq. It's pre 9/11, and no.
I do wonder what the military would be like. Would it be an upgrade? And it seems like it would be if people could serve, could work for the military at their pleasure instead of having to sign up for 2 or 4, 6 years. And I can understand why an employer wants to know how long somebody's going to be in there. But instead of...
they got the National Guard. It's like, what, a weekend a month or something like that?
Yeah, that's the selling point, is that you can work at your leisure because it's one weekend a month.
Yeah, and they don't pay a whole bunch unless you're deployed doing something or there's some kind of disaster. Then the paycheck gets a bit bigger. But to some extent, I think they ride upon this notion of patriotism. It's not the good pay, right? It's not.
Lord, no.
It's not that they own up to the VA hospitals or anything else that's out there. It's that a couple of things, like you'll get more respect in the uniform, and maybe even girls will like it.
That's probably true.
And
Badge Bunny type girls
pulling down trim. Oh, that's what they tell you. Oh, you be pulling down trim in every port all over the world.
Yeah. All right, there's more on the way here. You can share your thoughts. Maybe you're disillusioned with military service, or maybe you love it. You think it's just the greatest thing ever.
I'm going to tell you what these people who experienced the VA hospital in Manchester felt.
We'll talk about that on the way. Your calls and thoughts are welcome as well. Our number here is toll-free. It's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. The NSA has noticed how much time you spend on conservative news sites. We have no choice but to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Tired of your internet activity being monitored by Big Brother? Get virtualshield.com, the world's easiest to use virtual private network. Browse the web anonymously, leaving pesky advertisers and spies in the dust. Get started today at virtualshield.com. Take advantage of our free 30-day trial. Virtualshield.com. You have the right to remain private.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And Skype on in. Join us there at Skype username lrn.fm.
I take Whole Food Multi-Complete on a daily basis, and you know what? I think you should too. What Whole Food Multi-Complete is so much more than a multivitamin. Sure, it has vitamins and minerals, but it also has an enzyme blend, a probiotic blend, antioxidants, immune support, bone and joint support, and an energy blend too. Just go check them out at simplifymysupplements.com. Once you have a chance to take a look at the ingredients list there and compare that, price-wise to what you're paying, I think you'll be floored by what they've got going on. Whole Food Multi-Complete, for 15 years, they've been providing what the big guys won't, the perfect blend of supplements in a single product. They've taken expense and the complexity out of following a complete supplement program, visit simplifymysupplements.com. You can learn more. Use coupon code FTL. That's FTL as in Free Talk Live. Receive 10% off of your order every time you order. Satisfaction's guaranteed, or your money back. I will use this product long after they cease advertising, because I think it's that great. I lost over 10 pounds, almost 15 pounds, just from the probiotic aspect. It's simplifymysupplements.com, coupon code FTL.
All right, our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. As we go to your calls and thoughts, let's start with William in Hampton, Virginia. And still to come, we got the horrifying stories out of a veterans hospital. William, you're on Free Talk Live, listening to WNIS.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening to you guys off and on for several years.
Thank you.
And I first heard you talking about Bitcoin, I'm going to say, 5 years ago?
Yeah, sure.
And if I had taken your advice, I'd be very well to do now.
Yes, that's true for a lot of people.
There's a lot of people saying that. Yeah.
Did you ever get any at all? Any Bitcoin?
I still have not. I really don't quite understand it.
Yep.
I sent $100 to an outfit in California that was supposed to buy me some Bitcoin, and somehow they just swindled me.
Yeah,
They
it
just
sounds
kept
that way.
me.
There's a lot of hustlers in the Bitcoin space.
There's a lot of scam. I bet it's money. I mean, whenever you're dealing with money that isn't exactly the easiest to trace. I mean, it is traceable if you know what you're doing. But whenever you're dealing with money, you're going to get some hustlers. You're going to get some scam artists. So you got to buyer beware big time, especially when you're getting into something you don't really understand. And we encounter this a lot. We do a local Bitcoin meetup here in Keene, New Hampshire on every 8 days. And it's not uncommon for somebody to come in who is pretty brand new to Bitcoin and bring a lot of questions with them and ask a bunch of questions. And, then if you're the kind of person who has a difficult time remembering your password, you got to really be careful when you're dealing with Bitcoin, because some of those wallets out there that they have, there is no password recovery. There's nobody monitoring it. There's no customer service that you can go to. Now, I'm not saying that's true for all of them. Some of them do have password recovery, but some of them don't. And if you aren't paying close attention, if you write down the backup phrase and then you forget where you put the backup phrase, which is the guy that we talked to today earlier, Will, who was here. He wrote down his 12 words for his blockchain wallet, and his mycelium. He wrote down 12 words for his mycelium wallet, and he thinks it was on a pack of cigarettes that he left somewhere between here and Georgia, somewhere. So it's long gone.
Somebody got some money.
Your money's gone. So yeah, William, if you're not certain, if you don't feel confident, you definitely don't want to get into something like Bitcoin, where there is a learning curve and the potential for a mistake that is irreversible is very, very high. Now, I don't say that to scare anybody, but just be realistic with it.
And don't feel bad about getting swindled.
You just got swindled last week.
Yeah, it happens to I think everybody. You've been ripped off before,
of course,
too,
everybody's been ripped off. And there's always certain circumstances that make your chances of being ripped off much higher. And you were in one of those circumstances where you were desperate.
Yep.
And whenever somebody's in a desperate circumstance, it's like right around the corner, there's some scam artist who's going to be ready to take your money from you, make you feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to you.
Yeah. I was just so happy to get any customer service at all.
Turns out it was a scam artist.
Yeah.
He was real nice, though, wasn't he?
He was awesome. He was trying to fix my problem. I've been trying to get fixed for over a month.
You gave him full access to your computer
and my Bitcoin wallet.
And there went $700 worth.
Oh, my.
Of it.
That quick.
Yep. So, William, was that what you were calling in tonight about, was to thank us for telling you about Bitcoin?
Actually, fellas, I'm almost 65 years old, and I served in the U.S. Army, but I didn't go to Vietnam. I went to West Germany.
Okay.
And I was going to just give you a little bit about my Army experience.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
I actually joined right before I turned 19 because my recruiter told me if I didn't join, they were going to draft me on my 19th birthday and send me to Vietnam. So I joined, did that 3 years, and as they promised me, I did go to West Germany.
Okay.
I never saw any combat, of course.
Thank goodness.
Although
not a lot of Vietnam combat in West Germany, yeah.
I'll tell you this: the people in my company, the career NCOs and officers, we were a supply company in the 3rd Armored Division, and they actually enjoyed Vietnam. The people that weren't getting killed had a good time.
Well, everybody's getting high, right? I mean, there was a lot of drug use.
No, well, they made
prostitutes, drug use. Sure, they had all that, didn't they?
They made rank. They got paid more for combat pay. I see this.
Yeah, when it's not wartime, man, it's just, hey, it's welfare all day, all night.
What he said, though? He said the people who weren't getting killed, they were having a great time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have a bullet in your head, right, you're having a blast.
Hey,
I mean, unless you're the guy sitting next to the dude getting a bullet in his head. I mean, that's kind of traumatic.
William, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The story, the toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Yeah, as long as the bullets aren't flying, the bombs aren't going off, then it's, hey, everybody's bellying up to the taxpayer trough and they're getting their military welfare, which is, basically what the military is, right? It's a Republican welfare program.
That's what they call it.
Well, of course, there's Democrats in the military as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
it's
Vietnam was started by a Democrat. We were led into Vietnam by a Democratic regime.
What we've found is many of the voters in the military are much more likely to vote libertarian. They were Ron Paul
fans.
Well, I mean, they want someone who's not got an itchy trigger finger to send them to die for no reason whatsoever.
Well, most of them know that these wars are futile, right? Once there's the sort of the mystique of the military when you're outside of it, right? When you're growing up as a young man, mostly. I mean, yes, there's women in there now, but when you're growing up, there's all these movies.
And a third of them have been raped.
And at least a third of them. There's all these militaristic movies that glorify, war and all that, and so and then of course, a lot of young men are just transfixed by that, and they believe what they see is going to be their reality if they join up, and then the reality is it's actually really boring in a lot of cases in the military.
Hurry up and wait.
Or actually deadly in certain circumstances.
If you're bored in the operating room here in the VA in New Hampshire, you can watch the flies.
Count the roaches?
What's that?
Count the roaches?
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about roaches, but they do had to worry about things like flies and that sort of thing.
Gross.
Yeah.
Try to figure out what color those MRSA spores are.
Yeah.
If you want to give us a little sample, then we're going to get back to more phone calls.
Yeah, one operating room has been abandoned since last October because exterminators couldn't get rid of the flies.
Oh, my God.
Doctors had to cancel surgeries in another OR last month after they discovered what appeared to be rust or blood on 2 sets of surgical instruments that were supposed to be sterile.
Wow.
Thousands of patients, including some with life-threatening conditions, struggle to get any care at all because the program for setting up appointments with the outside specialists is broken down. One man still hadn't gotten an appointment to see an oncologist this spring. That's cancer, by the way, folks. More than 4 weeks after a diagnosis of lung cancer, according to a hospital document obtained by the Globe. Yeah. If you don't schedule them, you don't have to worry about it.
We're going to continue here with your calls and thoughts. They're welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We got plenty of time for you on this live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
The CEO of Dollar Tree unveils the long-rumored foil baking pan. A new donor liver complains about the difficulty of working with Lou Reed. And a local couple keeps their marriage together for the sake of no one. We'll keep this as quick and painless as possible. This is The Onion Week in Review. A study published this week in the Journal of Financial Economics found that 83% of gamblers quit right before they would have hit the big one. Researchers confirmed that roughly 8 out of 10 gamblers who walked away from slot machines, poker games, horse races, roulette, and other games were consistently just a single stake away from winning it all, and unknowingly gave up a lifetime of fortune by quitting prematurely.
Our study proved that subjects who closed an online poker session, walked away from a slot machine, or even gave up gambling altogether would have won millions of dollars in the next bet. Also, people who walk away after hitting it big are missing out on a chance to make more money. I mean, when you're hot, you're hot.
In other news, an Asian guy has a separate group of Asian friends, and a vain Galapagos tortoise tries to pass for 90.
This is the Onion News Network.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got a web forum, and you can go there and join it for free, and you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and hosts of the show. You go to forum.freetalklive.com. That'll take you right there. That's forum.freetalklive.com, and we still have that giveaway going on, which I have not yet actually done my part of it yet, so I'm going to get to that probably at some point this weekend. We're giving away Bitcoin Cash to anybody that posts their Bitcoin Cash wallet address to a thread that is on the Free Talk Live forums right now. Roger said he was going to do $1 worth of Bitcoin Cash. I said I'd match that. So the first 100 people to do that will get some free Bitcoin Cash, which we talked about in detail what that is compared to Bitcoin earlier this week. If you missed that discussion, just go back to the archives and go grab those.
It's faster, better,
yeah, pretty much
cheaper.
Cheaper right now. For now, it's cheaper. So head on over to freetalklive.com. Actually, go to forum.freetalklive.com to check out the forum and check out that thread there. As we continue, we'll take your calls, your thoughts about what's on your mind. Let's go first up to Bob in Indiana. Bob, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
What's on your mind, Bob?
Yeah. Oh, well, I was just listening, and I catch you. I leave work, catch you through the week. I'm kind of a Republican, or at least right-leaning, but you know, a lot of stuff makes sense. But I was a vet during the Vietnam time. I didn't actually go and get shot at, but you know, I was there, got the National Vet Medal and whatnot. But
okay.
Just listening, and the military's, like you were talking about a guy that learned to fly and stuff, and then had to go to school, and it really is on-the-job training of anything in the military. I mean, they offer, college. I mean, that's how it is. And then you go to college, and then you've had the training and the school. Now, there's a few things that are, it's not just,
well, there are some people who've called us to say that they felt like they were lied to, that they were told.
Well, everybody was, but it's a joke. I mean, that's not, I would tell you 80%. It's a joke to 80% of people probably in the
When you say it's a joke, what do you mean by that?
Recruiters lie to everybody. They always have.
It's called the big green one. Well, they have a word for it. It's a joke. That's what he means by it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke among members of the military.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
like
before
I said,
you go in.
If you go in and you don't know that they're promising you the sky,
Well, they are talking to 17 and 18-year-olds here.
Some would be a little more gullible than others.
They were pitching me at 15.
People we don't trust with a bottle of alcohol somehow or another. We do trust.
I joined the Marines on my 17th birthday. When I was 4 days over being 17, I got off the bus at MCRD in San Diego. But the Marines are a little different, too. You know what that is, right? If you're going to sign up for the Marines, whatever job you got, it starts with being a Marine,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the Marines, you're a killer first, and then you're a cook or a journalist.
You
are an infantryman who happens to cook.
Now, where were you in the military?
I was an ROTC instructor.
ROTC.
It's a little bit different.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was a Marine.
Okay.
I was a Marine Corps ROTC instructor. I used to teach young Marines.
Okay, cool.
Bob, was there anything more you wanted to share about your experience?
Well, just that it wasn't that bad, and it was
for you. It wasn't that bad, but then again, you said you didn't see combat.
That is bad, and it's like, but it's still, it's what you expect to. I mean, and it.
Well, there's one thing about expecting it, and there's another thing about actually being in it, and having to take the life of another human being. Because if you look at what happens with the suicide rate,
you can, but.
If you look at what happens with the suicide rate with military veterans, it is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Aren't more people in the military dying from suicides now than actual combat deaths?
Yeah, if you look at if you run it from the year 2000 upward, that more people die from being a veteran than die in a war.
And that includes the people from getting sick in veterans hospitals?
No, that does not.
Because that would be being a veteran. You're saying suicide.
Suicide specifically.
So suicide specifically.
Yeah.
So more people dying from suicide, and then some amount of them dying from being in dirty VA hospitals.
Chances are very good that somebody died in this particular hospital in Manchester with the flies in it and that sort of thing.
Well, you have to. I met I had a guy that lived across the street from me who literally was told to run down an old woman and a 7-year-old, and he now cannot drive.
Oh my God!
He can't drive at night if the sun is down.
Is this in the Middle East where this happened?
He was in Iraq, and he went over there to do to shoot missiles and ended up driving trucks instead. And they were crossing the road, and the rule was if it's in the road, you don't stop. You just run it over. And he was forced to run over an old woman and like a 7-year-old child. And now when he drives at night, they just walk out in front of him as ghosts of his conscience, and he gets in car accidents and flips out and screams and locks up the brakes. And the government went out of their way. They spent 4 years trying to not help this man after he got out.
Right. This is the thing
years.
They put them in the situation where these terrible things happen to them, whether it's physical or mental or whatever, and then they spend the rest of their lives, the rest of your life, trying to avoid helping you with it. They outlaw the drugs that'll help you. They, they dodge the situation. Nobody's held responsible. When somebody's held responsible, so what? A bureaucrat got fired. I lost my leg, or whatever it might be. This is the this is the sad truth that people need to understand on Veterans Day. Veterans don't need your thanks. They need the government to do what they said they were going to do in the first place. And the government's never going to do what it says it's going to do because it's an organization that doesn't have to do that. Right. Think about it. When does the government do what it says it's going to do?
Well, these are people that they literally, this literally was a policy. It was a policy, written policy, that what you do is these guys, you send them to Iraq. They see horrible, horrible things. Now they are mentally and emotionally damaged. You send them to the Navy head shrinker, and the Navy head shrinker would then say, oh, well, you have a personality disorder. And then they would...
We don't cover that.
No. A personality disorder is something that you've always had, and therefore it's something that you didn't declare when you put your application in, which nullifies any contractual obligation that we have to help you.
Right. They don't cover it.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
No.
They call it pre-existing.
They boot you out of the military. You lose your pension.
Mm-hmm.
You lose all of your medical care.
And you don't get the schooling that they promised you.
You lose everything. Yep. And it was a policy to save money on the budget. And this was a Republican administration when the policy was written. It was under the Bush administration when the policy was written. One thing about Obama, as much as all of the Republicans hate him, they have to admit he fought that issue personally and got rid of that law. But
that doesn't mean they're screwing him any less, though.
Then when he got in, it didn't change. He just got rid of the law and continued the policy.
Let's go to Daryl in Texas. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Daryl, watching us on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com.
Yes, I was in the Navy for 20 years, and you guys were talking about the education earlier, about people getting out and not being able to do the job they trained for. Well, for medics, that is a huge problem. But for other jobs, you can actually get like journeyman's license or licenses while you're in. The only problem is half the Navy doesn't know about it because either people don't talk about it. I just happened to be working with people who knew about it, who told me about it. So I got my ship and boat journeyman's license by the time I got out. Huh. And one of my shipmates on my last ship had got because he was a gas turbine mechanic, pretty much a jet engine mechanic on the mechanical side, that they stick in ships and call them gas turbines. He got 3 or 4 based on his job. So practically every job, or what we call rating in the Navy, we call them jobs. What you guys would call jobs, we call ratings. Every rating in the Navy has journeyman license you can get. And then specialty jobs you can do, like recruiting or law enforcement or something, you can get, or like if you're a instructor, you can get actually a journeyman's license for that.
But you say this is in no way
Virginia,
promoted.
You'll get one from both the Department of Labor and the state of Virginia.
But you say this within the military, this is in no way promoted publicly. It's just if you know the right people who happen to tell you about it, then you might be able to take advantage of it.
Pretty much.
Yes, I mean it's one of those things that people do know about it. It's just that the bad habit is people who know about it, either they tell everybody about it or they tell no one.
I had a cousin. My cousins came and told me every secret that they knew because they all were in during the first Iraq invasion, and
Do any of them have that Gulf War syndrome?
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff's serious. These guys are dying from that, and they don't even know why.
I have a cousin named Troy that has it.
Daryl, thanks for the call tonight. We appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We got a whole 2 hours of the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live remaining. We barely even scratched the surface on just how bad this hospital was, Mark, that you've been meaning to tell us about. We might do more of that. But your calls and thoughts come first. If you're on the line with us, stick with us. You're next. 855-450, free. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small, it's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, November 11th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.89 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,274. Antiwar.com reports Saudi warplanes circled the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a throughout the day on Friday, carrying out multiple attacks against the defense ministry and surrounding area, with a number of strikes hitting a residential area next to the ministry building. Several homes were damaged in the strikes, and one was totally destroyed, leaving only a crater. Despite this, locals could confirm no deaths from the strikes, though a substantial number of wounded were being rescued from the ruins. These are the latest in a long series of attacks on the Yemeni capital during the Saudi war, and while the defense ministry has been targeted occasionally in the past, this appears to be the most concerted effort against the building. Officials at the Yemeni defense ministry claimed responsibility over the past weekend for a ballistic missile strike against the Saudi capital. It's unclear this is retaliation for that, however, as Saudi officials have tried to dismiss the Yemeni claims and blame Iran and Lebanon for the incident. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numeri supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department announced sanctions on Friday against 10 Venezuelan government officials it says interfered with the country's elections last month. Those targeted are all current or former government personnel or leaders of state-run industries in Venezuela whose elections were marked by voting irregularities, according to the Treasury Department in a statement. It noted that the ruling United Socialist Party of President Nicolas Maduro unexpectedly won a majority of governorship races. The Treasury added, despite calls for an independent audit of the election results, the Venezuelan government proceeded to swear in the winning candidates. In addition, the environment in which these elections were held, including censorship, the abuse of state media, and rampant corruption, raises questions concerning the freedom and fairness of the electoral process. Among those sanctioned are members of Venezuela's Election Commission, legislators, the former Culture and Communications Minister, a telecommunications executive who allegedly blocked certain websites prior to the election, and Osorio Zambrano, who's accused of being complicit in swindling the state out of up to $573 million through corruption in Venezuela's food program. The sanctions freeze assets that are subject to U.S. jurisdiction of the 10 individuals, and Americans are barred from dealing with them. Friday's actions followed a sanction order in August to pressure Venezuela to restore its constitutional democracy. Trump's order called for a prohibition on debt and equity transactions with Caracas and its state-run oil company, though it did not place an embargo on Venezuelan oil exports to the United States. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Department of Justice on Friday pledged to prosecute protesters who damaged oil pipelines or other energy infrastructure, a move that could escalate tensions between climate activists and the administration of President Donald Trump. The DOJ said it was committed to vigorously prosecuting those who damage critical energy infrastructure in violation of federal law. In a statement sent to Reuters, a department official said attempts to damage or shut down pipelines deprive communities of service and can put lives at risk, cost taxpayers millions of dollars, and threaten the environment. The statement was in response to a letter sent last month to Attorney General Jeff Sessions by 84 members of the U.S. Congress asking whether domestic terrorism laws cover activists who shut oil pipelines in October 2016. The DOJ did not say whether it would investigate or prosecute the protesters who broke fences in 4 states last year and twisted valves shut on several pipelines importing crude oil from Canada that carry the equivalent of as much as 15% of U.S. daily oil consumption. 5 of the protesters who say they turned off valves on the pipelines said their actions were nonviolent and were the last resort in a desperate and necessary effort to avert catastrophic climate change. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
I mean, it's just so hard to believe that it's really all gone.
It was in this living room 3 weeks ago that the Talbot family discovered their DVR had suddenly and inexplicably crashed, deleting more than 5 years' worth of recorded live events and miniseries.
I keep having flashbacks to that day, to that moment when I realized everything was gone.
You know, you hear stories about people who mismanage their device settings, but you never really think it could happen to you. Honestly, it feels like some sort of a dream. Like, when I wake up, I'll be able to just go downstairs, turn on the TV, and all the episodes will be there again, as if nothing had ever happened.
Friends and family of the Talbots have pledged their support, organizing DVD donations and offering passwords to online streaming services while the family struggles to move on.
We know that we'll never be able to replace all the hours of programming that we had, but I think in the end we'll be just fine, as long as we have our 5 seasons of Seinfeld on DVD.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves. Take control of those airwaves here toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733 as we launch here into the second hour of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Will,
and Mark.
We got more on the way about the terrible, just atrocious conditions in a specific veterans hospital, but I'm sure it's not the only one. Mark, you'll tell us more about that, but also Bitcoin's on a lot of people's minds with this most recent week being just an amazing week. We talked in detail about it last night with Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com. If you missed that interview live, then you can always go back and listen to it over at freetalklive.com. But July is on the line with us, calling from Minnesota, listening in the northern part of the state to WNMT. Hey, July.
My name is Julie.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It is not spelled that way here in my call screening software. So, Julie, welcome to Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin.
Sure.
You know, the very first time I heard about it was actually through you guys this spring.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I started doing the research, and I'm like, you know, I mean, you start to go crazy a little bit, like you don't know where to start, this and that. And so basically, like in the last 2 weeks, I bought my first Bitcoin.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's you guys I have to thank for that. But I was also that girl that I ended up purchasing some like really expensive information, and I'm not going to.
It's a little hard to. I don't know if you're on a speakerphone or you're not talking directly into your phone, but it was a little hard to hear you there. Could you say that again?
Oh, okay. All right. I was on speaker because it's yeah. Okay,
oh, thank you. That's much better.
Yeah. So I had bought some. Like I signed up for some. It was kind of expensive information, and I don't want to say how much I paid for it, but I just felt like I had to do that so that. Because when I started researching...
Wait.
Oh.
She signed up for a Bitcoin class.
You signed up for what kind of information?
I don't want to tell you. But it was one of those sites that, you know, pay this much and we'll give you this kind of information, you know.
But what kind of information? I mean, you don't have to tell me exactly... You don't have to tell me exactly what the class was or the website or whatever, but what kind of information would you be paying for about Bitcoin?
Okay, so what I paid for the information I got is basically how to buy Bitcoin. They also had other recommendations of other cryptocurrency to get into.
And what did they recommend as far as how? Because to me, this is like red alert. I'm already hearing scam warning, scam warning. So, like, what was their recommendation, if you can say, as to how to buy Bitcoin? Again, just kind of generally, what were they recommending?
What they were recommending, I wish I had the information in front of me because I don't usually get on the radio, so I'm kind of nervous.
That's okay. It's just us. Just pretend like you're talking to us. There's not 100,000 people listening.
Okay. All right. They just had a series of information like, going to Bitrix, do this, go here. They had the self-tutorials. Because before I bought this, I thought, I didn't even know. I was that girl that I'm like, nobody's heard of this. Where I live, nobody knows anything about cryptocurrency. No one's interested in it. And I just thought, I got to get into this. And
okay, well, I'm glad to hear you mentioned Bittrex. That's one of the Bitcoin exchanges out there, so that is a legitimate way to acquire Bitcoin. Although I don't know if it's that easy to get dollars into it. But that's
actually, it's funny that I only said Bittrex because it started with a B.
I see.
What I actually signed up through was Coinbase.
Coinbase, okay, that's a good way for a newbie to get into purchasing Bitcoin.
Wonderful. And if I didn't purchase this information, I may not have stumbled across that. Especially if you're someone, I am slightly compulsive. I do want to mention that, I would have been that person taking chances like, well, I'm just going to go here and do this, buy that. And I didn't want to do that. I thought,
you got to be careful. There are scams out there, which is why I was like, whoa, somebody's going to charge you to tell you how to buy Bitcoin? Because I'm sure
you can find that at Bitcoin.com.
Right. Bitcoin.com will help you with that. And I'm sure there's a zillion tutorials out there on the internet. So, to anybody listening, no, you don't have to pay someone to tell you how to do this. Many Bitcoiners like myself are more than happy to, kind of give you a quick rundown on what to do. But then again, like you said, you don't know of any Bitcoin meetups in your area, so you didn't know how to connect with anybody.
Yeah, I didn't know how to connect with anyone. And the thing is, when people start finding this out, obviously we're going to, let's say in the next few years at some point, I would never advocate anyone to do what I did. I just knew that I had to do it, and that was it. And so far, I have not regretted it because there was a lot of viable information in there, or at least that I thought was valuable to me,
Well, good. Yeah, it sounds like you learned a thing or two from it. So you're happy with your...
It also helped me save time, so I wasn't... Because I was spinning my wheels for months, ever since March.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
yeah. You can totally dig in as deep into this world as you want. Like you were saying, where do you begin? There's a lot to learn if you want to. I mean, you can learn as much or as little as you want about Bitcoin. You don't have to know exactly how it works to know that it does work, or at least it did. Bitcoin's kind of broken right now with its very high fees and its slow confirmation times, so it's kind of messed up
Dash
at the moment. Dash,
and that's what I wanted to talk about too, because then yesterday or the last couple of days when it started dropping would have been my first moment of, oh my God, what's going on? But it's still exciting,
it
because
is.
I put in the amount that I could afford to lose.
Good.
That was what was critical.
Yep.
And that's where I got from this information too, where I may not have done that. I might have went, I'm just going to jump in and do this much and this much. And
then
so I've approached it very conservative, except that I did pay a lot for this information. But,
how much did you pay for this tutorial?
What's that?
How much did you pay for this tutorial?
I don't want to tell you.
You're embarrassed. It was that much, huh?
Yes, it was that much.
Hopefully it makes you some money.
Julie, thank you for sharing tonight. I appreciate your story. And if you want, check out meetup.com. Sometimes there might be a group around that maybe you didn't know existed. That might be a way to search for maybe Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in there and see if you can find something locally. And then you can connect with some other folks in your area. And thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And things are very slow on the Bitcoin blockchain right now. There's some reasons for that. We can talk about that when we get the chance. We can also go to your calls and thoughts. Philip is on the line in Michigan on Skype. Hello, Philip.
Hey, guys.
Hey there.
I know a year and a half ago or so, your home and studio was raided and you were robbed by some people from the federal government. I was wondering what happened to that, and if you've heard anything since then.
We don't talk about it because we're afraid that they might come back at some point. Nothing. I mean,
no
the answer
news is good news.
Nothing.
As far as I can tell. I mean, it's not good that they still have 50 electronic devices that they 53
thousands of dollars worth of computing devices
probably
that
over,
they took
yeah,
for us,
$10,000,
which are probably now all junk and full of spam bots that we'll never use for anything.
So yeah, who knows if we're ever going to see any of that equipment again, because as far as I can tell, they can just keep an investigation open for as long as they want. So, there's no statute of limitations on, hey, you guys, are you done investigating yet? No? Oh, okay. I guess we'll just keep waiting. So.
And as an IT professional, I would never trust equipment that came back from the federal government again. I would just sell it or trash it or something.
Really? Even if you like format the hard drives, it's still too dangerous?
Well, there's firmware, the hardware could be modified.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happened to that thing since it's left your custody.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would still want to take some files off of there, so I'd probably hook it up to a Linux machine or something, and try to access some of the files on there, because they got some footage that I don't have anywhere else. Like when Sam Dotson, one of our former co-hosts who ended up leaving New Hampshire, he actually came back and went to court to settle up a warrant that was out for his arrest for the last 5 or 6 years, and I was there recording that. It happened just a couple weeks before the raid, so I never got the chance to actually get that footage onto the internet. So there are a couple of things that I didn't have backups of that I sure would like to get back, but nothing super critical. Luckily, most of that stuff was backed up.
Yep, off-site cloud storage, good stuff.
Well, did you just call to ask how that was going? Because there has been something in the news about it recently. I don't know if you caught the headlines.
No, I that's all I called, but sure, if you got more.
So I don't know if I've got it here in front of me, but basically, oh yeah, here it is from mintpressnews.com. This was reported in a couple different places. The way they busted this site, and thanks, Phil, for the call tonight, was they did basically a hacking tool that they installed onto a child pornography site that the federal government had taken over operation of for a couple of weeks. And they released this hacking tool on that site, which then hacked into the visiting computers. Turns out they were also blindly hacking computers in Russia, China, and Iran, and that may result
while they were distributing child porn.
Consequences.
The United States government.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
Fireplaces and wood stoves are wonderful to have and provide low-cost heating, but they've got their drawbacks too. One of them is the increased likelihood that your home will burn. My primary advice is to you is to never let fire into your home and make sure that you have an extinguisher on every floor and the garage, and that everyone knows how to use it. But if you love your wood stove, don't want to give it up, make sure that you keep things away from it and have a professional clean it every year. The pro will make sure the chimney is properly functioning also. Make sure to dispose of your ashes outside too. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
officer!
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here at 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you here tonight, you've got Ian,
Will,
and Mark.
As we continue, we'll take your calls and thoughts about whatever's on your mind. We just had one of our callers ask about the FBI raid against the Free Talk Live studios that happened. Oh, God, what was it? March? I think it was March of
2016.
Of 2016, so not quite 2 years ago, but coming up on it. And they have not given us anything back yet. No one has been charged with any sort of charges. Although I got to give them credit, they did give me back my video camera. When we asked them for the video camera back because it could not possibly be used to store anything on it. It was just a camera, an SD card-based camera, so they can keep the SD card. Just can we please have the camera back? They actually did give that back. So
they didn't do that completely of their own volition, though. There was a trade involved.
There was kind of a trade involved in that, and that had to do with assistance in an actual child porn investigation because somebody sent us in email, some anonymous person sent multiple hosts of this show what ostensibly was child pornography in the emails.
And they claimed responsibility for that.
And they claimed responsibility for the reason why the FBI raided us in the first place. So we gave them whatever information we could about this person and whatever little bit that we did, speculate about that person. So maybe that's why they gave the camera back. But they didn't have to give the camera back, and they did. But the other 52 or 53 pieces of equipment that they took, they're still in their custody. The Daily Beast has reported, according to ZeroHedge.com, on newly unsealed documents that show the FBI blindly hacked into computers in Russia, China, and Iran during a wide-ranging investigation that led to the bust of a global child pornography operation and the liberation of sexual abuse victims. During a hacking operation in which U.S. authorities broke into thousands of computers around the world to investigate child pornography, the FBI has hacked a number of targets in Russia, China, and Iran. The news signals the bold future of policing on the so-called dark web, where investigators are increasingly deploying malware without first knowing which country their suspect is located in. Legal experts and commentators say the approach of blindly kicking down digital doors in countries not allied with the United States could lead to geopolitical fallout. Now, just to be clear, what they did here was a magistrate judge in Virginia, I believe it was, authorized the FBI to just go ahead and put hacking software on everybody's computer that connects to this website that the FBI was operating, this child pornography website called Playpen. And
to be clear, the Federal Bureau of Investigation was distributing child pornography.
That's correct. Ostensibly to catch child pornographers.
And apparently causing international incidents in the process.
Right.
Now,
And the reason
this claim that they somehow freed people who were sex slaves, that's brand new to me.
Yeah, I don't know what level of truth there is to that.
I've heard nothing. How did that happen?
It
How
seems
does taking over a website free anybody?
From the stories I've seen, it seems like the supermajority of the people they busted were just people who possessed child pornography. So they raided the homes of the people who ostensibly had gone to this website, and in some of their confiscations of the equipment they found actual child pornography. But, they might have actually busted some of the purveyors of it, right? So there's the people who create it, and then there's the people who download it. They may have actually gotten some of the creators.
I've kept a pretty good eye on this story, considering that they tried to implicate us in it. And I've only seen a dozen or so people who got arrested, and they were downloaders. I haven't seen this this creators of child pornography.
Well, Playpen was a site on the dark web, and the federal government started operating it for about 2 weeks. When they took it over, they deployed what they described as a network investigative technique. Now, that's bureaucrat speak for a hacking tool, basically. Now, whether that technique was utilized on all the computers who connected to the site or only a certain portion, it's still not clear exactly how that technique worked, because when they charged one of these people with this crime, so-called crime, in that particular case, the person who was charged challenged the warrant itself. They challenged they said, hey, not only are we going to challenge the warrant, but since you're going to use this evidence against us, well, then you need to go ahead as part of discovery and show us the program. You're saying you used this network investigative technique. Well, as part of the discovery process where you have to show us your evidence in the case, we want you to show us the program. We want to be able to read the code. We want to see what it was that you put on the client's computer.
If you get a speeding ticket, you're allowed to see the
certification for the radar.
The certification for the radar. If you you're facing charges because of fingerprints, you're allowed to see what process they went through. You're allowed to see this stuff. This is how court works.
But you weren't if you were the guy in this case, because the FBI basically told the court, no, we don't want to show that. And so the judge said, the judge had another hearing and let them make their argument as to why he shouldn't order the defense to be given the full information on this hacking tool. And the government made their argument behind closed doors, mind you. And so presumably the argument was like, well, we need this tool to catch more perverts or terrorists or whatever it was that they want to use this tool for again in the future.
National security.
And the judge basically said, well, okay, you've got two choices. One, you reveal the network investigative technique, reveal the code to the defense per discovery rules, or you can drop the charges. And so the FBI, rather than reveal what actually was in this tool that they had, they dropped the charges against this guy and he walked.
That is something that you as the public really, really want to know. Like, what is so secret, so dirty? Because when I hear something that the government doesn't want me to know, my immediate feeling is like, okay, what dirty thing are you doing with my money to me?
Exactly.
Like, how are you raping me that I don't even know about?
Yeah, so that's how important this tool is to them, that they were willing to lose a case in order to protect whatever this tool happens to be. So far, no one knows. Well, it's just speculation.
The presumption is that the case, right, that's the idea, right? This is a child pornography case, and therefore the person that they're charging is victimizing a child. They're letting a child victimizer walk rather than revealing whatever technique it is that they used here.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, and put my conspiracy theorist hat on and be like, they have the ability to crack all of our computers and they don't want us to know, and they're willing to let a pervert off to make sure that the public doesn't find out that anytime they want to, they could access every computer in this room.
Edward Snowden revealed that information. I mean,
yeah, but now the CIA would literally be showing us the code for how they're able to do it.
So here's the problem with this exploit that they did. because this was over Tor, which stands for the Onion Router, it's an supposedly anonymizing system for the internet, but it just keeps getting cracked in so many different ways. I don't know how anonymous it really is. But supposedly it's anonymous. And so the only way they could identify who the people were was to deliver this hacking tool to their computers in whatever jurisdiction they happen to be, whether it be China, Russia, you name it. They actually, according to the story here, they hacked over 8,000 computers in 120 countries because they don't know where you are if you're in one of their jurisdictions until the hacking tool's on the computer to then gather information about what the IP address is and all of that. So they had to, by their own rules, go ahead and do this, but it might have been illegal. More coming up.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain, I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so do feel free to Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio here, it's Ian,
Will,
and Mark.
We've been talking about the federal government not only hacking people's computers inside the United States, but also outside of the United States, giving you an update on the latest from what was called the Playpen, which was a website the federal government was running, distributing child pornography for a couple of weeks straight. And I forget what the statistics were, but they were very, very high numbers. Like, this was apparently a very popular place. So they distributed thousands upon thousands of images and videos in the 2 weeks that they were operating that particular website. All the while deploying what they called a network investigative technique to as many of the computers as they possibly could to try to gather their IP address information and other potentially identifying information from that person's computer. But in order to do that, they had to deliver this, basically this hacking tool, that's another term for network investigative technique, a piece of malware that infected these people's computers and then transmitted information from their computer back to the FBI. Well, the thing is, they didn't know in advance where the people that were coming to the website were coming from. They couldn't have, because it's a Tor system, an anonymizing system for the internet, the Tor router, or the Onion router as it's called. So they didn't know. So they've just been blindly hacking, as they claim here in the story from the Daily Beast and Mint News. The FBI hacked over 8,000 computers in 120 countries, including across South America, Europe, and the United States. It has led to hundreds of arrests, as well as identification and rescue, they claim, of hundreds of victims of child abuse, according to the FBI's own figures. However, something the FBI has kept quiet is that the Bureau also hacked computers in countries that have a particularly volatile relationship with the U.S., especially around issues of malicious hacking, including Russia, Iran, and China. Now, the FBI identifies or justifies these types of intrusions as so-called necessary when foreign law enforcement is slow to cooperate or not receptive to the intelligence presented. FBI Special Agent Daniel Alfin said during testimony in a related case, quote, "Some foreign countries are very slow to act on the information that they receive because it has to go through official diplomatic channels," unquote. Although it's unlikely that Germany or the UK, let alone Russia or Iran, would readily excuse evidence of cyber intrusions by the United States should they discover it. So is this an international incident that we're talking about here? Is this a criminal act on the part of the FBI? Probably not, but it's probably not going to be helpful.
It is a criminal act on the part of the FBI, but it won't be treated
they won't be
as
prosecuted.
No, nothing will happen to the FBI. I mean,
the Federal
they're
Bureau
the
of Investigations
FBI.
distributed hundreds of thousands of images of child pornography.
The very act they say is a crime.
While attempting to arrest people who then accepted the images of child
From the
pornography.
FBI.
So possessing pictures of child pornography is bad. They did bad things. Lots and lots and lots of bad things.
But they're not going to arrest themselves.
No.
I would say on Earth there are probably like a dozen completely unaccountable organizations across the globe. You know, like the Israeli Mossad can come to Australia with stolen American passports and assassinate a political leader from an Arab country, and it's on the news for 2 days, but that's really the end of it. The FBI can literally get caught spying on the Queen of England or on the Prime Minister of Germany, and it's on the news for 2 or 3 days, and then it's just, you know, like,
these the FBI,
people,
it's what they do.
Yeah, these people are, and that's just it, though, is we as a society and as a populace globally have come to a point where we expect bad behavior from bureaucrats and from the government so much that we've become acquiescent.
It's so bad that I mean, that's apathetic. Why I actually thanked the agents for not shooting my dog when they were here. Just because I expect the worst, right? Like, I expected them to go ahead and just blast the dog.
Expect them to shoot you
because they could.
Probably because your roommate was standing here naked.
You think that distracted them?
It certainly made them uncomfortable.
Which one?
His name was TJ.
He used to work for the NSA.
TJ the Spy.
Oh, TJ the Spy. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. He was butt naked at the time. It was hilarious.
It
was so funny. And there's video out there. He just hasn't put it online yet. So maybe someday we'll get to actually show that because it was pretty entertaining. All right, so we're trying to look on the bright side of what was
it's like
not
my
a very...
daughter peeing in the floor of the bureaucrat's office while they're like tearing my van apart.
Oh, this was at the border.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing. It's amusing when you see these bureaucrats there.
You got to find the humor in it. You have to, or it'll drive you insane. The fact that total strangers can come into your home, toss the entire thing, and walk away, and there's nothing you can do about it,
and no accountability if they find out they were wrong.
Total to strangers that were distributing hundreds of thousands of images of child pornography. And then when they come in to take hard drives out of your computer, for instance, if your computer has 4 hard drives, they only take 1 out of the 4. They're all sitting right next to each other.
Yeah, that
they
happened.
Look completely identical.
Yeah, it wasn't like they missed them.
It was the strangest thing. I mean, it just said to me, like, we're going to take this hard drive, fill it up with whatever the hell we want, bring it back, call you whatever we want to call you.
Well, thankfully they haven't done that.
No.
So anyway, that's the latest there in that story. In the toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, you never got into the details, the dirty details of this Manchester Veterans Administration Hospital that is just in awful, awful shape. So what's going on?
Yeah, happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. I want to let them know how they treat the veterans because, it's my belief that veterans really don't need your thanks. They need the government to do what it said it was going to do in the first place. Mm-hmm. Going on here from it's BostonGlobe.com. This is what the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs says a 4-star hospital looks like. This hospital got 4 stars. One operating room's been abandoned since last October because exterminators couldn't get rid of the flies. Doctors had to cancel surgeries in another OR last month after they discovered what appeared to be rust or blood on 2 sets of surgical instruments that were supposedly sterile. This has been a few months. By the way, this is the best story I could come up with. There are new aspects to this story, but nothing that's really sort of as disgusting as maggots in your operating room.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Maggots anywhere. Yeah. Always just it's going to set you off.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they're not using them to eat out the gangrenous skin or something. So thousands of patients, including some with life-threatening conditions, struggle to get any care at all because the program for setting up appointments with outside specialists has broken down. One man still hasn't gotten an appointment to see an oncologist this spring, more than 4 weeks after a diagnosis of lung cancer. This guy's got lung cancer. He needs to see a cancer doctor, and sorry, we just can't figure that out. Our computer program's not working. Sorry. Oh, and thank you for your service. All the lip service for veterans, it's fine and everything, but what these people really need is the medical care to deal with the harm.
But this has been going on and on and on. I mean, I can remember back more than a decade ago.
It goes on, Ian, because people continue to give the military a pass.
Well, no, they always make a big deal like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe that these veterans hospitals are in such bad shape. We need to get in there and we need to hire some new bureaucrats to run this program. I'll tell you what, we're going to blame all this on the old administration, and now this new administration, we're going to get in there and clean up this hospital, and it's going to look great. In fact, we're going to spend millions of dollars. We're going to open up a brand new hospital. Look how clean. Look how clean now. And then everybody just goes back to, business as usual. And then, 5 years later or whenever the next story comes out, it's like, boom, scandal, another veterans hospital that's filthy with, medicines that are poisoned and, people being given the wrong pills and all these stories. It never changes.
Well, I wish that people, when they talk to the young people that are going into the military, and this is, these are the 16, 17, 18-year-olds are making this decision. Please give them real information about what they're joining. Don't just say, oh, what a good boy you are.
This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But did you know you can have tax-free access to your life insurance while you're still alive? You can use the life benefits of your life insurance to grow your money with certainty and guarantees. No stock market risk, no tax risk, and no penalties. Call Life Benefits if you'd like a free book about how this can be done. Call 702-660-7000. That's 702-660-7000.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No-Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free live Saturday edition here. Veterans Day as well. You're welcome to call in to bring up anything you want. We're talking about yet another horrific example of veterans medical care with another veterans hospital, this time with flies flying around all over the place in at least one operating room that they claim the pest control guys just claim that it couldn't get rid of them. And then also, and if that's the case, by the way, if you can't just get in there and get rid of some flies, that means there's somewhere they're generating, and they don't even know where they are.
It's your Veterans Affairs hospital with extra maggoty goodness.
Yeah, lovely. And then what was the other thing? They found some medical equipment, some tools that they were going to use in an operating room.
Tool.
It was bloody, coated with old grimy blood that was on there that supposedly they'd been cleaned,
yeah,
sanitized.
And probably the worst thing is that their system for referring people to outside care just, the software is just broken and nobody seems to care or want to do anything about it.
So this is the newest scandal, and you were talking about how, the veterans deserve to have the medical care they were promised, but of course this is the same talking point that it gets brought up whether it's the Bush administration, whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump or, Clinton or whoever. It's always the same old story, and there's a reason why. We need to talk about that. We'll also take your calls at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And it's not because the people who are running the federal government don't care. I mean, if you talk to the representatives and the senators, surely they'll tell you how much they care about the military veterans. Well, maybe they really don't, but they're going to act like they care. They're going to be like, we're going to do what it takes. We're going to get in there. We're going to clean out this hospital. We're going to spend millions of dollars. We're going to remodel it. We're going to hire new bureaucrats. And then they act like they're doing something, act like they're actually having an effect. And sure enough, you can see, look, they spent a bunch of money. They cleaned up. They built maybe they even tore the old one down, built a new one. Of course, that's shiny when it's brand new, but then give it another decade and see, how the bureaucracy that has no incentive to actually care ends up treating that particular piece of property and the people within it. Because once it's all shiny and new, the news media just looks away. They go find some other story to go look at. Oh, they changed a bureaucrat. They changed the head of the hospital out. That's going to change everything. But the thing that doesn't change is the incentives or the lack of the incentives that are there. So it's not that some bureaucrats don't want to help. I'm sure a lot of them really do want to help, like some of the nurses or the doctors in that organization. But many of them are hamstrung by bureaucracy and all of the rules that are involved and how frustrating and difficult it must be to work within a bureaucracy like that. Plus, you got the same old problem with, a lot of bureaucrats where, they can't get fired. So there are some bad ones who are just psychos or, sociopaths within these jobs who basically can't get removed from their positions because they're, tenured in or whatever. And this is common amongst all bureaucracies. This is a bureaucracy that happens to deal with people's health. So the fallout, instead of just normal waste like you get in a typical bureaucracy, the fallout here is people's lives.
Well, I had a friend that was in the Navy. He was in his 60s in Central Florida, and talking about the putting lipstick on a pig, so to speak, of fixing things.
Yeah.
So he goes in for a simple knee surgery, contracts MRSA from the hospital, and has to have his leg amputated above the knee. They let him go. Oddly enough, they let him go to a private hospital to have that surgery done. But now here's their grand solution. They put signs up, and they put places that you could get hand sanitizer. They put hand sanitizer dispensers up, and that was their solution to a hospital-wide MRSA infection outbreak. That just a simple surgery, and you're losing your leg from the thigh down.
Wow.
That brings me to the next paragraph here. When patients from Manchester Veterans Affairs Medical Center are referred to outside specialists, those physicians are sometimes dismayed by their condition and medical history. A Boston neurosurgeon lamented several Manchester patients sent to him had suffered needless spinal damage, including paralysis, because the hospital had not provided proper care for a treatable spine condition.
And the other thing about bureaucracy...
Very treatable is how they describe this on NPR.
But people are mad because we're not standing up. Like somebody wants to kneel during the national anthem, and
that's angry.
Let's get angry about that. But
football players are not standing up for my favorite song, but you're not going to do anything about their hospitals. Yeah. The veterans don't need that kind of help. Patriotism is not palliative. It is not going to fix this. You need to actually hold your politicians responsible and stop sending your children. Wait a second.
You can't fix it.
You can fix it.
You can abolish the VA.
Stop sending your kids into the care of these senseless organizations that don't care about them.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, the best way to fix this problem is to never join the military in the first place, and then you won't end up likely with PTSD. At least you won't be as likely to contract a case of...
Not until Bernie gets his hospitals.
Of PTSD. So, you can't fix this problem by changing the bureaucracy around. That's not going to work. The Veterans Administration is I imagine, a humongous bureaucracy. I don't know what their budget is, but it's got to be tremendous. So the question is, how do you end this insanity? Because people are still going to keep joining the military. Besides abolishing the entire military, you could abolish the veterans hospitals and then, have the military actually have them pay to the private market to go and get these people the help that they need.
That's done in many, many cases, but in this case, the software broke down and people just couldn't get the service. Sorry,
the software didn't make maggots. The software didn't make unclean tools.
That's much is true.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd like to say is this is probably not just one veterans hospital.
No, it's definitely not just one. This is the latest one.
Yeah.
This is the one where somebody actually revealed publicly what everybody who's working there already knew about and was trying to keep under the wraps.
You mentioned a hospital in Manchester, New Hampshire. I was talking about a hospital all the way down in Central Florida, literally the opposite end of the East Coast. So, I mean, This is a national problem.
I used to know a guy in Florida who was in Vietnam. He was a cab driver down in Sarasota who I knew. And he was convinced that his doctor at the VA hospital was trying to kill him, based on his recommendations, prescriptions that he was giving him, because the doctor's going to get paid whether or not you live or die. The doctor at the Veterans Administration, and I'm not saying this is true of all of them. I'm sure there are some that try to do the best they can in a broken system, but some of them
if they get rid of you, that trims the budget, and now they can get paid more.
Well, in theory. At the very least, it's one less patient they have to see during the day.
I'm sure that it's just like public defenders' offices. They're more than likely
just move them through,
massively overworked and just creating an assembly line.
Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania on Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
Oh, well, hello? Brother Ian, Brother Mark, and Brother Will, good evening. That's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yes. What's on your mind?
Well, I was going to talk about Federalists and Russians, but now you're talking about, I was thinking about talking about these poor veterans. Your choice, Brother Ian.
Veterans, go.
All right. Well, Ricky from the Commonwealth. Well, I will say I have a lady friend who is going to be taking my pictures shortly, but she is very busy. But the thing is, she's a veteran. Oh, yeah, I've been in there. I know a lot of veterans. I noticed how they've been treated, too. You see, her story... See, back when she was in Vietnam, she was over in Germany. And what ended up happening is she got mixed up into something that didn't involve her by an individual who was involved in things he shouldn't have been. He was a traitor. He was a traitor, a Russian traitor, mind you. Now, the fact of the matter is he was hacking their systems from inside.
In Vietnam?
No, she was in Germany.
Or in Germany. Okay.
She was in Germany. And he was an operative, had security clearance, and he was some form of an agent that she isn't even clear on.
So he was an agent from some other country?
No, he was one of ours, one of our military, but he was a traitor.
So he was working for another country, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, now, she got mixed up into that, and the military had two choices to do with this. Well, what they ended up doing is they went with it. That's what they do. This just happened.
Went with what?
Because she ended up getting involved, and he ended up using her.
So they punish her?
Well, it depends on how you look at this. What happened is she was brought in. She was put on drugs.
Another reason not to join the military is they will force drug a lot of the people involved. Thanks, Ricky, for the call tonight. I don't know if I want to hear the rest. It sounds pretty awful. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So, yeah, if you want your kids to end up dead or with PTSD or possibly having some experimental medication foisted upon them, then let them join the military. Or if you'd rather they have a productive, happy life, you probably want to keep them out of that and get them a real job or a real career or skill. 855-450, free like freedom. You can join us here. Hour number 3 is coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
You look stressed, Marie. Everything okay?
Well, I'm a little worried. Scott got a letter from the IRS that we owe $30,000. Now third-party collectors are calling. The IRS may start garnishing our wages, and we just can't afford that.
Relax, Marie. Just do what Mark and I did and call Community Tax.
Community Tax's highly accredited team of tax professionals knows how to protect your savings and stop wage garnishments, audits, levies, liens, and property seizures. Depending on your circumstances, you may only have to pay a fraction of what you owe. If you owe the IRS back taxes you can't afford to pay, call our toll-free hotline to learn how you can resolve your tax problem and potentially save thousands of dollars. Don't pay a penny more than what you have to. And don't be fooled by scams or harassed by collection agencies. Even if you're already in a payment plan, call now for a free consultation. For your free 5-minute best price guarantee quote that could save you thousands, call 800-792-8287. That's 800-792-8287. 800-792-8287.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, November 11th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.89 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,276 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,274. Antiwar.com reports Saudi warplanes circled the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a throughout the day on Friday, carrying out multiple attacks against the defense ministry and surrounding area, with a number of strikes hitting a residential area next to the ministry building. Several homes were damaged in the strikes, and one was totally destroyed, leaving only a crater. Despite this, locals could confirm no deaths from the strikes, though a substantial number of wounded were being rescued from the ruins. These are the latest in a long series of attacks on the Yemeni capital during the Saudi war, and while the defense ministry has been targeted occasionally in the past, this appears to be the most concerted effort against the building. Officials at the Yemeni defense ministry claimed responsibility over the past weekend for a ballistic missile strike against the Saudi capital. It's unclear this is retaliation for that, however, as Saudi officials have tried to dismiss the Yemeni claims and blame Iran and Lebanon for the incident. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports the U.S. Treasury Department announced sanctions on Friday against 10 Venezuelan government officials it says interfered with the country's elections last month. Those targeted are all current or former government personnel or leaders of state-run industries in Venezuela whose elections were marked by voting irregularities, according to the Treasury Department in a statement. It noted that the ruling United Socialist Party of President Nicolas Maduro unexpectedly won a majority of governorship races. The Treasury added, despite calls for an independent audit of the election results, the Venezuelan government proceeded to swear in the winning candidates. In addition, the environment in which these elections were held, including censorship, the abuse of state media, and rampant corruption, raises questions concerning the freedom and fairness of the electoral process. Among those sanctioned are members of Venezuela's Election Commission, legislators, the former Culture and Communications Minister, a telecommunications executive who allegedly blocked certain websites prior to the election, and Osorio Zambrano, who's accused of being complicit in swindling the state out of up to $573 million through corruption in Venezuela's food program. The sanctions freeze assets that are subject to U.S. jurisdiction of the 10 individuals, and Americans are barred from dealing with them. Friday's actions followed a sanction order in August to pressure Venezuela to restore its constitutional democracy. Trump's order called for a prohibition on debt and equity transactions with Caracas and its state-run oil company, though it did not place an embargo on Venezuelan oil exports to the United States. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Department of Justice on Friday pledged to prosecute protesters who damaged oil pipelines or other energy infrastructure, a move that could escalate tensions between climate activists and the administration of President Donald Trump. The DOJ said it was committed to vigorously prosecuting those who damage critical energy infrastructure in violation of federal law. In a statement sent to Reuters, a department official said attempts to damage or shut down pipelines deprive communities of service and can put lives at risk, cost taxpayers millions of dollars, and threaten the environment. The statement was in response to a letter sent last month to Attorney General Jeff Sessions by 84 members of the U.S. Congress asking whether domestic terrorism laws cover activists who shut oil pipelines in October 2016. The DOJ did not say whether it would investigate or prosecute the protesters who broke fences in 4 states last year and twisted valves shut on several pipelines importing crude oil from Canada that carry the equivalent of as much as 15% of U.S. daily oil consumption. 5 of the protesters who say they turned off valves on the pipelines said their actions were nonviolent and were the last resort in a desperate and necessary effort to avert catastrophic climate change. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. According to sources, all 6.5 million residents of Indiana spontaneously formed thousands of perfectly uniform rows throughout the state Monday morning and established a collective consciousness. Saying, "We are Indiana," the new hive mind talked and moved in unison, with citizens working together to build a massive geometric superstructure in downtown Indianapolis where they would gather to sleep, breed, and feed.
All corns for Indiana. All corns for Indiana.
The collective state went on to report that soon Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Kentucky, and Canada would all become Indiana. Persons close to Phoenix area friends Jake Welter and Mike Seflin confirmed Friday that the two men are absolutely incapable of greeting each other like normal human beings.
Beep, 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 beep.
Sources say the two full-grown men simply cannot walk into a room and shake each other's hands, relying instead on elaborate dances, forced pop culture references, and extended fake fighting. Neither Welter nor Seflin was available for comment as they were busy pretending to rip each other's faces off.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free as we launch into the third hour of the live Saturday edition of the show. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450. Free like freedom. 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Will.
And Mark.
As we continue with your calls and thoughts, David is in Indiana listening to WIBC FM. Hey, David.
Yeah.
Hey there.
You're talking about how bad the VA hospitals are. I'll tell you right now, the one here in Indiana, the Brown and Bush VA Medical Center, is one of the top ones listed. They whiteboard every week to see how they can improve things. They've joined with IU Medical Center and Methodist Hospital. There's doctors from both of those at the VA assisting in getting patients seen quicker.
Those things are true about this one too.
So
this was a 4-star hospital that that was in Manchester that had these problems with the maggots in the operating room and the.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like every one of them's bad, and you're ragging on the military, telling people not to join.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely telling people not to join the military.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that because
that's one of the stupidest
government.
things you could ever say.
No, it's not. What's stupid is to go and do what politicians tell you. What's stupid is to blindly follow the order of a bunch of politicians. What kind of a sucker would do that?
Tell me about the freedoms that those poor guys that lost their lives a couple weeks ago in Niger. What freedom of mine are they defending in Niger right now? What are my freedoms doing in Niger that they need to be defended in Niger? Why are we sending...
That's a lot of questions.
In Nigeria, you have ISIS. And ISIS likes to come here, correct?
Oh, the new boogeyman.
So stop them where they're at.
I thought it was Al-Qaeda.
And fight them on our own soil.
Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, drug dealers. See, if it weren't for the
Pick a
military,
boogeyman.
they'd all be killing us right now. Will, I mean, come on. You're only alive because of the fight against ISIS, right?
I think we're clear that ISIS was created by a vacuum that was caused by the United States' involvement in Iraq.
I've listened to you over and over talk about how bad this country is.
I think this
If
country.
you think it's so damn bad, why don't you do something? Get off your tush and do something real about it instead of just blab your mouth and bash everybody.
What do you want me to do to make veterans hospitals better and that veterans get the services that they were promised in their contracts? What do you want me to do about that? Because I'm trying to bring light to it.
I'm getting those services. I'm
glad you are. There are a lot of your fellow service people who are not.
I needed my ankles looked at from where I broke them so bad, and I got outsourced because our orthopedic department was too busy. So I was outsourced to Indy Ortho, which is one of the top ortho places in Indiana. I was not sent to some cheap place.
The first thing that this article said was that some people were getting good services and some weren't. And that's really the problem here, is not the people who are getting good service, because you can go into any hospital and get good service. It's the people who are falling through the cracks that relied on taxpayers like you and me that said that, hey, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to sign this check that says I'll give my life for these shiftless government bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., and all I expect is for them to take care of my medical that is a cause of this. And they don't get it oftentimes.
They go out of their way to deny it of them. And I mean, these hospitals, it's not the problem is that it's normal for the hospital to be bad. What he's talking about is an exceptional hospital, and instead of being an exceptional hospital, that should be the rule for what veterans receive.
It should be at least as good as a hospital. This hospital here that we're talking about in Manchester was rated 4 stars. How are you going to know if the hospital in Indianapolis is exceptional? Because it's rated by the same system that this one is. I'm glad you had good results, and I am really glad.
I say this: I would rather send anybody to the VA hospital here in Indy than to the hospital in the hometown where I live, because I wouldn't even send a horse to it. And it's a civilian hospital.
David, so you had accused us of sitting on our butts here and doing nothing, and I'd just like to point out...
bashing the U.S. military service.
I'm bashing the United States government, which doesn't live up to its veterans.
I will bash anything the U.S. federal government does. I don't care what government program it is. They are a bunch of thugs as far as I'm concerned. They fund themselves through violence. They threaten and use actual violence against peaceful people here in the United States and around the globe, and it's shameful. So anyway, going on with my response to your claim that we're just sitting here complaining, you obviously don't know really anything about us. Will, I don't know if he heard you when you said it, because I think a couple people were talking at that time. You ran for the Libertarian Party's vice presidential nomination in 2016. You are a well-known activist with Muslims for Liberty and the Libertarian Party. I moved to New Hampshire. Mark, you did as well. We moved back in 2006. Well, you just moved this year. We moved back in 2006 as part of a freedom migration of people who do want to do something, who are doing something, who have gone above and beyond the call of duty for activist purposes in the U.S., and we've actually picked up our lives and moved to the same place so we can be more effective at rolling back the government's involvement in our life, with the government that you appear to be singing the praises of.
Oh, it ain't the government I sing praises of. It's the military.
Whoa, wait, what? The government isn't the military?
The military is
the government
armed...
doesn't control every aspect of the military. They have a hand in it, yes, but they do not cover the every day-to-day business of it.
The military is the armed enforcement of government.
How's the military get its funding?
I had two out of 24 years. I had two rotten commanders.
Two what?
Only two.
Two what?
Two rotten commanders.
Rotten
out
commanders.
Of the rest of it, I had great commanders.
Good for you. How's the military get its funding, sir? How does it get funded?
You're one to talk about money. I'm talking about how they take care of the people.
I'm asking you. You said the government's involved. You said the government's got a hand in the military. And I'm telling you, the military is a government bureaucracy from top to bottom. How do they get their funding?
They get it through the government, but they do not deal. They do not run the day-to-day.
Where does the government get the funding to fund the military?
You're not even listening.
I listened to what you said.
Just want to talk about money.
Well,
yeah. I want to know where the money comes from. Where does it come from?
It's pretty obvious that the military is a government agency.
Well, he's denying it. The taxpayer.
He knows.
Right.
He knows it's a government agency. But
the
he's
very
saying that there's a
taxpayers who are threatened with prison if they don't pay their taxes, right?
The day-to-day.
The very same taxpayers who are threatened with a prison cell if they don't pay into the system. Isn't that right?
The DOD, the Department of Defense, that is a branch
government
of
bureaucracy.
It's a government bureaucracy.
Yeah,
You're
you can
saying
deny
the
it all you
Department of
want.
Defense doesn't run the military.
And we've been paying taxes since this country was formed. So, don't act like a snoop.
Yeah, so
We
that
also
makes it
fought a
okay.
revolution to get rid of
Hold
them.
on, just because
you
people have been
just
paying
said that-
taxes for a long time makes it okay to steal from your neighbor? Because that's what taxes are. It's theft. It's armed theft.
Yeah, you guys are just going to defend your idiotic idea anyhow, so.
Thanks for the call tonight, David. Denial is very, very strong, very common human response. First of all, the government is the military. The military is the government. The military is one of the largest branches of bureaucracy within the federal government.
Look,
get real.
So my opinion would be this, right? Like there's going to be some organization that handles large-scale violence, right? And that's what the military does, and there's always going to be one of those. What I would say is that the United States government, who is currently in charge of the United States military, should live up to everything it promises vets, or at least come close. And I'm glad that he had a good experience. But a good experience by him, with all but two bad commanders. What did he say, 24 years that he was in the military?
Yeah, I don't know.
So he's in the military a long time. I mean, the vast majority of people who are in the military think that it's bad enough that they don't re-up.
Mm-hmm.
The vast majority say, this 2 years, this 4 years, this 6 years, that's plenty for me, I'm done. And the vast majority don't take it the 20 years to get the retirement. And plenty of those people who intended to take it to the 20 years, they aren't allowed to go to 20 years because the government doesn't want to give them the retirement.
Yep.
This is all I want is for young people who are signing up for the military to know what they're getting into. And what they're getting into is not at all what they're sold.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here on the live Saturday edition of the program, it's 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And look, if you want to send some private group of people to go kill people around the world, that should be your business. You can fund that. I don't want to be involved in killing. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No. When I get to about 3/4. When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite. Oh, no. I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you here to join us and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether we are on the air or off, we're constantly talking about cryptocurrencies in the studio here, and that's certainly been some of the discussion tonight with the price of Bitcoin Cash skyrocketing to record levels over this weekend. Just today, Will, during the show tonight, you told me it hit $1,500
it's
US dollars.
It's $1568.22 right now.
2 days ago, it was $800 US dollars.
Yeah, when I bought a whole bunch of it this morning, it was at 9.
Yeah, so it's been an amazing run watching that. But Bitcoin Cash isn't the only contender out there. Dash is also vying for the top slot. Currently, I believe the number 6 cryptocurrency in the world. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people like you manage your own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy, fees are low, transactions are quick, and can be confirmed instantly. That's right. Instant confirmation. It's going to pay a little more for that, but you can get it with Dash. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar, and Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. You can take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and find out why. As we go to your calls and your thoughts. Let's go first to, I think we've got Russ in Virginia, listening to WLNI FM in Lynchburg. Hey, Russ.
How you guys doing?
Welcome. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, with your previous caller, I guess you guys initially didn't realize he was a veteran.
I don't know. I think he said that at some point.
Okay, but my family, I have had family members who were veterans, and their VA experience, and the VA experience with a lot of people I've met over the years who, I'm talking from World War II on until today, has been, it's a flawed system. It always has been a flawed system. It's never been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is you guys were talking about why do we have to go fight somewhere else? We have countries that call on us for aid a lot of times. You know this. I mean, anybody that studies any kind of diplomacy or, our foreign policy understands that sometimes our military gets involved in small countries. Somalia was a perfect example.
Well, I don't understand it. And here's why I don't understand it. The U.S. government originally was founded to create no entangling alliances with other countries. They weren't supposed to get involved with those situations.
Guys, honestly, that's because of the whole Teddy Roosevelt mentality. Speak softly, carry a big stick. The military happens to be our extension of our government, which we project power throughout the world. You park an aircraft carrier off a country that's got some issues, and suddenly the issues disappear.
In many cases, that's the case, yes. The United States has shown the propensity to do that.
Power.
But I would ask you this. Why is it
I'm sorry, but that's the way our government works. And if
I
you don't
understand
like
that's
it,
the way our government works.
It's a great place this time of year.
If you don't like it,
Pay
leave,
a
Mark.
visit, stay there for a while. A couple decades. I mean, to be honest with you, you guys are...
Am I being sent
to
Somalia?
It sounds like I'm dealing with the Antifa generation here.
What was
to be
that? I'm
honest
sorry.
with you, I don't really like this show, but I felt compelled to call because you guys absolutely suck.
We don't worship at the
Have a good
altar of the
night.
military, so we're Antifa, basically. I mean, it's...
So
he's mad.
Did he just hang up?
Yeah, he did.
He did? Okay. Well, my question was this, is why is it the United States taxpayers' job to handle peace and security off the coast of Niger or wherever?
Well, he said you got to push people around, is what he was saying.
Yeah,
you got to use force in order to get your way.
The world should do what we say because we're America and we're the world's bully.
Washington D.C. doesn't propose to rule America; it proposes to rule the world.
Sounds to me like he was the guy that was picking on the little kid when he was in school, and he wants the.
I don't know what he was doing. That's just conjecture. But I mean, look,
once a bully, always a bully.
Yeah, no
I mean,
doubt.
come on.
Well, I don't know.
It's definitely true that people who were picked on, in some cases, go on to become people in places
everybody
of authority.
was picked on.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
picked
think
on
he was
somebody.
the bully. To me, he sounds like the kind of guy that was the jock who would get
You're
his
just
friends
goading
together and
somebody who's not
shove
here to
somebody in
defend
a
themselves.
locker.
Well, let's bring
Call
bring somebody
please.
else on here. I know we got other folks that want to get on. He hung up, so he lost his chance for tonight. Anyway, Daniel in Michigan, you're on Free Talk Live. Daniel, I think you're calling from Alpena?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. You're on the air. Go ahead.
How you guys doing?
Good. Listening to WZTK. Go ahead.
I've been involved in the Veterans Administration as a patient since 2000. I started having issues from the Gulf War. One thing you have to remember with anything, even private care, is your ability to advocate for yourself. I've always been able to advocate for myself. Unfortunately, my brother, who I served with, passed away 2 years to suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He was involved in the VA. He had back surgery, which did not go well, and they put him on painkillers for a number of years. And when when it became an epidemic, the VA started weaning people off. Unfortunately, he was addicted at that point, and about 2 years after they took him off the painkillers, he shot himself in the heart.
Jeez.
And I was the one who found him in this hotel room.
Oh,
God, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Oh my God.
Also, I want to let you guys know, I was involved in the Gulf War. I lost a cousin in 9/11. I'm from Connecticut, but I'm living in Michigan now. And what you need to realize that is, as much as we have faults in this country, there are people in other countries out there that want to do nothing more than destroy the United States of America because they don't believe in the Constitution.
You think that's
why? Oh, my God. That is the biggest...
Wait a second.
Oh, my God.
Let me handle it.
It has nothing to do with us dropping bombs in their country or giving bombs to the people who are dropping bombs on them. I mean, it's not like these people, they come here...
Understand
no, man.
politics. Like Saddam... Listen,
No,
Saddam Hussein was an ally of ours, okay?
At one point.
And Rumsfeld armed him to the T.
Yeah.
And then told him to invade Kuwait, and then we bombed him for invading Kuwait after we told him that he could invade Kuwait.
Do you know why Rumsfeld armed him to a T? Do you have any idea?
To fight Iran.
Because of Iran.
Uh-huh.
Because they didn't like us because we overthrew their democratically elected leader and installed a military puppet regime.
I want to know why the United States taxpayers are taking sides.
Listen, the mullah in Iran, okay, would like nothing more to wipe the United States and Israel off the face of the earth.
Why is the United States government involved in a religious battle between the Shiites and the Sunnis?
Because the Shiite brought it here. They brought it here with a bombing in Lockerbie, Ireland. That's what started it.
What about the Israeli the JDL and the pro-Israel bombings in the U.S. in the 80s that were happening in the same time that was happening in Ireland?
Well,
what the hell does Ireland have to do with the United States?
Exactly. Israel was bombing the U.S. when Iran was bombing Ireland.
Hey, come on. Let's stick to one subject.
I hope
we will. Thanks for the call,
sacred
Daniel.
cow there.
More coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. Violence begets violence. It's pretty basic.
Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But did you know you can have tax-free access to your life insurance while you're still alive? You can use the life benefits of your life insurance to grow your money with certainty and guarantees. No stock market risk, no tax risk, and no penalties. Call Life Benefits if you'd like a free book about how this can be done. Call 702-660-7000. That's 702-660-7000.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Free Talk Live.
The only thing that separates government from the mafia is their cloak of legitimacy. The government is nothing more than an armed gang of violent people masquerading as though they're something else. They've got these PR systems in place to make people think that there's something special about their armed gang, to make them not realize that that's all they really are. They've got uniforms, they've got robes, they've got courtrooms, they've got this aura, they've got flags, they've got pledges of allegiance, they run the schools, they run the roads, they're everywhere. So you think that they're supposed to be there. They've been there since you've been born, so they must always have to be there. Well, that's not true. They're an organized gang of criminals. You know how I know they're criminals? Because they're using force on people, and that's wrong. It's just wrong to force people to do things.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program. And you can take control of the airwaves toll-free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Over the last week, we've been talking a lot about Bitcoin and the latest with the now supposedly canceled fork for next week, although there's rumors that there's going to be some miners who are going to try to fork Bitcoin anyway. So that could be interesting. If that happens. Just been this continuous geek war drama that we've been reporting on, although tonight we're talking about actual war in the case of Veterans Day. But if you want to keep up with the latest on Bitcoin and the new Bitcoin Cash that is taking the world by storm right now, Bitcoin Cash has been shooting up 50% in the last 24 hours. It's incredible to see what's been happening there as it is challenging Bitcoin for its market dominance and doing a pretty good job at it.
Very convincing so far.
So check it out. There's more details about what Bitcoin is. If you're brand new to Bitcoin, the best place to go, it's got to be bitcoin.com. They got the basics there. They're going to teach you what you need to know about, how to get a wallet, how to send and receive Bitcoin, what it is, trying to get you past that little learning curve there at the beginning. Go to bitcoin.com. You'll learn a lot more there. As we continue, we'll take your calls and your thoughts about whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's talk to Craig in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Craig.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, great. Go ahead, Craig.
Good. First time listening to the show.
Welcome.
Sorry for the shock.
Sorry for what?
The shock.
Oh, no. I'm just now kind of delving into libertarianism myself. So there's a lot of things about the party I guess I don't fully understand quite yet as I'm going through the process. I'm a veteran. I served. I went in because of 9/11. I can admit that there was some naivety behind my my idealism when I joined.
Even Mark was suckered in by the 9/11 thing.
Yeah, I sincerely hope I don't sound like a person who I just barely didn't join the military. I attempted on more than one occasion.
Well, I mean, you've got the current front runner for the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination, and if you could say there was one, is an Iraq War veteran.
Talking about Adam Kokesh?
Yeah, and he's basically an Iraq War veteran who decided now he runs an anti-war organization.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of libertarians there are a bunch of libertarians who've been in the military, and they know how bad the bureaucracy is, how inefficient it is, how deadly, how dangerous, how, the rapes and the terrible corruption and everything. So, I mean, you only really know all that if you're on the inside, right?
Well, sure. And I saw the flaws within the VA. I saw friends and family and people that I served with, other brothers and sisters in arms, and coming home both with physical and mental wounds. And I joined. I became employed at the VA for about 9 years after I got out of the service because I wanted to be the change. Try to give the type of service that I thought was warranted to, people who might have went in under the same type of pretenses or notions that I had.
So you went in with the best of intentions. How did it turn out?
That's right. Well, I quit my job there, and now I'm actually attempting. I've gone back to school. I'm attempting to go to law school.
Why did you quit? Did you determine
fall.
that you couldn't actually change the system from the inside?
That's correct. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of how your efforts were frustrated by the system?
Well, there's things that I, as a patient and as an employee there, that just the same old song and dance. As far as you have, for instance, mental health. It's great that the Indianapolis VA is a good VA compared to the other VAs that I have seen and been to, but. For instance, because they are attached to like the IU system here, they do have a rotation of doctors. So there's a lot of frustration that comes from some of these patients who get established with one provider, a mental health provider, for instance, and then that mental health provider who's a student transfers out, and then they have to go through the whole rigmarole again, trying to reestablish a relationship
with a new guy.
VA doesn't just want, VA doesn't just want to pick up where the other person left off. They have to go through the whole process again by reestablishing, the initial consult and, reevaluating therapies and medications. And it's just, and so I've seen people become very frustrated from this.
I bet.
And just overall, a lot of different, like you said, it's bureaucracy going through having to go through all the different steps just to get basic
Now, that's not
care.
to say that there's not bureaucracy within regular health care. I mean, the government runs that thing not quite top to bottom, but, a good chunk of it. There's a lot of money in the healthcare business that is funded by government.
And government doesn't have the monopoly on bureaucracy and unaccountable people by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that as the bureaucracy gets bigger, the accountability gets smaller, and you get things like maggots in the operating room that have been there for years, and no one seems to know or be able to do anything about it.
Craig, I want to thank you for the call and keep looking into the libertarian movement. It's much larger, by the way, than the party itself. The Libertarian Party is just a portion of the larger liberty movement. And feel free to call in any other night with any other questions you might have. I appreciate hearing from you. Got to move on here. We got other folks here waiting. Let's talk to Dan. He's in Nebraska. Dan, watching us on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Hey, Dan.
Hello, Minister Ian and Minister Edge and Minister Will.
Will is an imam, but kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember I called in just a little bit ago about
a few
trying
days
to
ago.
defend Scott from Massachusetts, and
you were defending Scott from Massachusetts.
Yes, I was trying to defend his claim to something about takeover with socialism in the government, right, and people being brainwashed. And I actually just ran across another article today, which is why I called in, from Yahoo News, called "Once Taboo: Socialism Finds Comrades Amongst U.S. Millennials."
Oh yeah.
And it details a few things like the media. Okay, so I'm sorry.
What's new, though? I mean, young people are into socialism. I mean, they
tend to be because they haven't had jobs and responsibilities in many cases.
That's true of all generations, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
they're also raised in government schools, which, of course, inculcates them with socialism. So how are the millennials any different than the Gen Xers, than the baby boomers, than everybody before them?
That it's much more widespread and way worse. And
how do you know?
To actually become because they're starting to become politically significant.
But didn't the millennials weren't they also into Ron Paul, 2012, 2008? Wasn't that like a Ron Paul thing with young people attending his speeches in droves at colleges, filling stadiums, that kind of thing? Those were mostly college students, weren't they?
I tend to believe that. But the thing is I also tend to believe that that's the minority amongst millennials. If I ever, by chance, I live in Nebraska, but I live in Omaha, so it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And if I by chance meet anybody who's about my age, you can already kind of guess that they're probably on the
socialist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's frustrating, man.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how difficult that's got to be when you're a liberty-minded person. I'm presuming you're liberty-minded. When you care about freedom and all you feel like you're surrounded by are a bunch of socialists or a bunch of right-wingers that want to control your life in some way. That control your morality. I mean, it seems like it's one or the other. But that's why I moved to New Hampshire as part of a movement, a migration of libertarian-minded folks to where I can be around as many liberty-minded people as I want to here in New Hampshire. And the natives are also exceedingly with it when it comes to understanding what individual freedom is. So I'd recommend that you check that out, Dan, and thank you for the call tonight. Head on over to 101reasonsfilm.com. You want to get 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, 101 Reasons Why It's Attracting Libertarians, Anarchists, Volunteers from around the globe.
That way we can leave a better world for Keith Richards.
101reasonsfilm.com. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Lico Chaps, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this hospital.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free. You bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. If you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. Reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, in the studio with you tonight, by the way, it's me, Ian,
Will,
and Mark.
Don't forget to check out more of Will on his show. He does his own program Sunday nights, so not tonight, but tomorrow night, after the live edition of Free Talk Live on LRN.FM at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. You can hear Will and his own show, uncensored. It's called Call to Freedom. So, and I love it. I love listening to your show. You guys have a great rapport with your co-hosts, and you've got really well-educated Muslim guests on frequently. Yeah. It's not a Muslim show necessarily because your co-host's a Christian.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have Tom, who is what we call him a homeless Republican because he was a Republican politician in Tennessee, and then Trump came along, and now he's just not welcomed by his own Republican Party anymore. People who voted and campaigned for him now think he's the slime of the earth because he didn't support Trump, you know. And we have Aria DeMezzo from anarchistgmail.com,
a transvestite.
Yes, a transgendered woman.
Does that upset a lot of the Muslims who, you know, may not really understand?
Just depends on the day of the week, you know.
So, like I said, it's not your typical Muslim. I mean, not that there are, not that I know of many Muslim shows in the United States,
but
really. I don't imagine it would
show. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't imagine it would be particularly typical if it were. So check it out. Call to Freedom. You can check it out live on LRN.FM. And I don't know, have you ever fixed your podcast? Is that still awaiting solved?
You can now see the archives of the show on YouTube
on the Call to Freedom channel or Muslims for Liberty channel. What channel is it on?
Call to Freedom, I believe.
All right, excellent. So check it out at LRN.FM or just look around for Call to Freedom on the internet. As we go to your calls and thoughts, Jamil is on the line in Norfolk listening to WNIS. Hello, Jamil.
Hello, Ian, Mark.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Hey, and Will's here too. Will Coley is with us.
Assalamu alaikum, Will.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, it was good to get on with you guys. I just started listening, so forgive me if this is redundant. But I got into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, about a month ago.
Okay.
And you know, I've been seeing the ups and downs, and a lot been going on in the past month.
Sure.
And I've been following this Bitcoin Cash thing for the past, hour by hour, and I think that you're one of my main sources for like the information about crypto.
It's a little muffled understanding you. Can you say that again? I don't know if you're talking directly into your phone's receiver.
Okay, sorry. You guys are one of my main sources of information about crypto, and then I have there are others, online. And I think there's like a big split, a schism between two different ways of looking at it from a purely financial aspect and the political aspect of what crypto is, and why you have it. And for some people, it's just a way for financial gain, and for other people, it's a lot more. And two different forces driving the market.
Yeah, and we talked about that last night with Roger Ver, a.k.a. Bitcoin Jesus, the founder of Bitcoin.com, longtime Free Talk Live listener, longtime advertiser and supporter here on the show. And what he pointed out was that there are these different factions now in Bitcoin. There's one faction that seems to believe that Bitcoin is somehow going to continue to be valuable to the market as just an investment, just a speculative investment where people can store their value in the hopes that it'll go up over time. Whereas some of us who've been around for a while in this Bitcoin world, we knew the old Bitcoin, which is now more like the new Bitcoin Cash, which was useful in the marketplace, which the reason why Bitcoin became valuable in the first place was because it was useful, because you could send it to anyone anywhere in the world for next to no cost, meaning that people in poor countries who make $1 a day could afford to have their own Bitcoin wallet and send and receive Bitcoin to anybody with that. And cut out Western Union. You got a family back in some country in the Middle East or whatever, and you're living in the United States, or you want to send money back to Mexico or wherever. You could easily do that with Bitcoin. But now, no, you can't do that. You can't send anything for less than $7 basically right now on Bitcoin. And if you think about it, that's a week's wages for somebody in a poor African nation. So Bitcoin is completely broken as far as retail use, small purchases are concerned. And
I
it's
think
sad.
that was purposeful, honestly. I mean, with the first pump, when I saw the very first pump and dump, and you could see them. You could see these points like nobody knew what Bitcoin was, and then it was on like The Good Wife and a couple different shows, and then Bernanke said something about it, and then the next thing you know, Bitcoin shot up for like no reason at all to like astronomical number at the time, astronomical numbers, and then all of a sudden it just crashed like a stone, and it was almost like people were trying to create fear of investing in crypto. And then somehow that morphed into crypto becoming, Bitcoin specifically, becoming the speculative investment. And as a person who was around when, Bitcoin was worth like $16, $40, and it was literally like something that we used at festivals to trade amongst each other to keep from using blood money.
I remember spending a whole
monies.
Bitcoin to buy some tacos or whatever at the Porcupine Freedom Festival a long time ago when it was $3 Bitcoin.
When the speculators took over, they ruined that part of Bitcoin, the activist part of Bitcoin. And I think that's why Bitcoin Cash is taking off, is because all the people who were using it as an activist thing are now just saying, okay, we've had enough.
Not just an activist thing, a market thing. Gee, what do you know? The market wants to transact. The market doesn't want to just sit on something and do nothing with it. Gee, what a surprise. Anyway, that's so I agree with your assessment, Jamil. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. I really lean towards that, and I think that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of power out there putting money into the market that's purely financial. I just don't see how something can be an instrument that's purely speculative, purely a store of wealth, but it has no utility. You can't even make jewelry out of it like gold. You can't,
right. It's not going to be a store of wealth if it continues to be useless for everything else. And the reason, like I said, the reason why people were using Bitcoin to store wealth was because it was useful, because you could do other things with it, because it was being accepted at thousands of merchants online, because it's being accepted at thousands of mom and pop businesses around the globe. You can go to coinmap.org right now and look at all the Bitcoin accepting businesses. How many of them are still accepting Bitcoin? That's a good question. And Jamil, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. Because go to coinmap.org, and we've done calculations based on the number of businesses per capita that accept Bitcoin. Here in Keene, New Hampshire, out in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, these are two of the most Bitcoin accepting Bitcoin accepting businesses per capita cities in the world. I've even gone so far as to claim we're the number one, Portsmouth and Keene, the top cities in the world, more Bitcoin accepting businesses per capita than San Francisco. And I base that number off of the Coin Map, which is a publicly editable map of all the different mom and pop businesses that accept Bitcoin. Thing is, I make a point of curating the Keene, New Hampshire area, just as Stephen does out in Portsmouth. He curates the Portsmouth area. If there's a business that for some reason goes out of business or stops accepting Bitcoin, which has happened, I will contact the Coin Map and say, please remove these from the map. I don't want it to look like we have more businesses that accept Bitcoin than actually do. But there ain't nobody doing that for San Francisco, which is the supposed number one most Bitcoin accepting city. Because I guarantee you, if you were to go through and audit that list, which has been up there, I mean, the site's been up there for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Some of those things have been on that site for as many years as it's been online and have never been updated.
What good is a list of Bitcoin accepting businesses when no one's going to be buying and selling in Bitcoin because transaction fees are $20 a piece?
For real,
No
yo.
doubt.
Why
Well,
am
that's what
I
I'm
gonna-
saying. How many of them are still on that list, given that they're probably not having anybody walk through the doors to actually use it?
I'm paying 10% transaction fees sometimes. Like we go to Local Burger to have dinner, and it costs me more than it would have cost me in Tennessee to spend cash and pay sales tax.
The Bitcoin median fee right now, today, hitting new record highs, is over $7 per. I think it was actually over $8 at one point today. Over $7, $8 per transaction. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Anybody that can look you in the eye and say that this is a good thing, that this is going to help Bitcoin somehow, that Bitcoin's going to be better off in the future because of these fees, and they'll tell you that the fees are going to get higher? I mean, this is insanity.
With Bitcoin Cash today, I transferred almost $1,000. It cost me less than 30 cents and took me less than 4 minutes.
Yeah. And one of those transactions was like 29 cents, and the other one was like 3 cents or something.
No, 003.
Yeah. So anyway, we are out of time for tonight, but maybe we'll get a chance tomorrow night to talk about the former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan. He's now on the attack. I mean, they're bringing out all the big dogs to attack Bitcoin. And you know what happens? You don't take flack unless you're over the target. Bitcoin's a threat to the old financial system, or at least the old Bitcoin used to be a threat. Now the threat is Bitcoin Cash and Dash and all the rest of them that can actually be nimble.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm. The Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM presents the latest episode of The Voluntary Life. Download it and listen to more at thevoluntarylife.com.
You're listening to The Voluntary Life, where you can hear ideas for finding freedom in an unfree world. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to connect with the show and hear all past episodes. Here's your host, Jake.
Hi everyone, it's Jake here. Welcome to The Voluntary Life. This week's episode is about Bitcoin, and I'm very happy to have two special guests with me today. The first is Stephanie Murphy, host of Let's Talk Bitcoin and many other podcasts. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Jake. And I'm the intro of your podcast as well. That's my crowning accomplishment.
Yes, also voice actor with many great audio projects, including my podcast. And Brian Sovereign, who's the host of Sovereign Tech. Hi, Brian.
Hey, it's great to be on.
I thought it would be fun to talk to you two about what is happening in the world of cryptocurrency, especially because, Stephanie, you and I introduced Bitcoin to my listeners a long time ago on our first podcast, which I think was, what did we say? It was 2013?
The first one was May 2013, and then we also did a follow-up in December of 2013. So it's been quite a few years since we've talked about it, but I wonder if any of your listeners remember and how many of them took the advice. And well, not that we were really giving advice, but how many of them got interested and caught the bug and got interested in cryptocurrency as well.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys were listening, because back when Stephanie and I talked about this, Bitcoin was probably sub $100, I'm guessing, when we first...
Probably the first time we talked about it, it was hovering around $100. And then during the second episode we did, it would have been probably right before the big first bubble, I guess you could say, in Bitcoin, where it went from around $250 up to about $1,000 and then crashed back down after the fall of the exchange Mt. Gox. So at that time, it was around, that was about the level of the prices. But now it's almost gone up almost an order of magnitude from that point, almost 2 orders of magnitude from that point. And the current price of Bitcoin is, drum roll please, let me get it, $7,394.99 and cents.
Yeah. Check your own sources, because it's probably changed by the time this goes out. It's been going up incredibly quickly this year. So I think to start off, Stephanie, could you give an overview of some of the really big changes over the last few years in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give a little bit of background on myself, if folks don't know me, I'm a voice actor, but I'm also a podcaster myself. And one of the podcasts that I've been involved with over the last 4 years and more is Let's Talk Bitcoin. Let's Talk Bitcoin was one of the first Bitcoin and cryptocurrency podcasts, and it's still going, hosted by me, Adam B. Levine, who's the creator, and Andreas Antonopoulos, a very famous heavyweight in Bitcoin individual. So, I've been following this for quite a while. And I think probably the biggest change that folks will notice is the price. I don't really like to focus on the price so much, although I think it is actually quite a useful indicator that shows that people find value in Bitcoin. When we first started talking about it on your show, Jake, We were hearing a lot of arguments going around of like, well, Bitcoin isn't backed by anything. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, gold is hard money. It's really backed by something, but Bitcoin is not. And I think at this point, those arguments have been thoroughly debunked. You don't really even hear people trying to say stuff like that anymore because Bitcoin really illustrates and cryptocurrency illustrates the fact that value comes from the value that people see in an asset. You know, if it's useful, if you can do something with it, the intrinsic value of Bitcoin, if you like, is its utility, is what you can do. And it's what you can do with it is send money anywhere in the world. It's like combining a teleporter with gold. That's one of my favorite analogies about Bitcoin. So I think the price is obviously exciting if you've invested in Bitcoin and now you're seeing huge returns on your investment. That's very exciting. But I like to avoid making that the main attraction when talking about it and just say instead that the price reflects the fact that people find value in the usefulness of Bitcoin. And that is exciting to me because it's a new technology. And the technology is something we can all get excited about. And it's going to have lots of other applications.
Right. I totally agree with you in everything that you've said about the price being a reflection of interest in it and the fact that people do find value in it. I think what it also shows is that there has been a lot of increased interest in Bitcoin. And one of the things that's happened since we last spoke is this whole problem of scaling Bitcoin, which has led to a lot of internal arguments within the Bitcoin world and also some technological changes. So can you just explain what's happened on that side?
Yeah, this is another thing people might have heard about recently. Now, okay, what I'm about to try to do is summarize a incredibly long and incredibly contentious debate that's been going on for years and has multiple sides and arguments and counter arguments. So I'm going to do the best I can, but inevitably I'm going to get some stuff wrong. So just bear with me here. So basically, when Bitcoin was originally developed, I think we just had approximately the 9-year anniversary of the original Bitcoin white paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin. So it's been around for quite a while. Bitcoin uses a technology called the blockchain, which is like a ledger, a publicly available ledger that lists all the Bitcoin transactions that go on. And you can't see whose real world identity is tied to a Bitcoin transaction necessarily, but you can see the Bitcoin address and the amount that was going from which address to which address. And now obviously to link it to a real world identity, you'd have to know who controls that address or whatever. So that's why Bitcoin is has this public but also pseudonymous quality about it. Okay, so the blockchain is like a ledger, as I said, that records all the Bitcoin transactions. Now imagine a literal ledger, like a notebook full of pages where all the transactions are written down. And as transactions are done, each page fills up with the transactions that are written on it. And there's a page or a block in the blockchain every 10 minutes, approximately every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, you're adding another page to this book, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Now, part of Satoshi's original vision for Bitcoin, I think it could be said, was that anybody could have a copy of the entire transaction history ledger of Bitcoin. I think at the beginning, everybody was on the same page about, it's a good thing if it would be accessible to anybody to store a copy of the entire ledger, the entire blockchain of Bitcoin. Now, that was good when there wasn't that much transaction history. You could easily store the whole blockchain. And when there weren't that many people doing transactions, one page for every 10 minutes worth of transactions around the world was enough to hold all the transactions. However, as Bitcoin started becoming more popular, there was not enough space on those pages or in those blocks on the blockchain to fit all the transactions. And so people started competing to get their transactions included in a block sooner by adding fees, transaction fees. And those fees would basically be a bribe to the miners to include their transaction first in the block.
Right. So if I really want to get this transaction completed quickly, I don't have time to wait around. I can pay more for the transaction. And what I get in return from that is a better chance at a fast completion.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, at first there wasn't much competition for space in those blocks to get your transactions included fast. And so people, weren't paying very high fees in the early history of Bitcoin because the blocks weren't full. In fact, many of the blocks were not completely filled up. There was some space left on that page in the ledger, if you will. But as time went on, as Bitcoin became more popular, the pages started getting full. And the fees started increasing because people were like, hey, I want my transaction included. I don't want to wait around to see if it's going to confirm. So I'm going to pay a fee. And then so fees gradually started going up. The blocks started filling up. Now, this started some discussion even before it really started getting bad, getting noticeable for the average user. It started discussion among people in the Bitcoin community and the Bitcoin coders of like, hey, how are we going to fix this problem? Because Visa, the Visa network, and MasterCard and all these major payment processors, they can process, orders of magnitude more transactions per second, and they do process that many transactions more per second than Bitcoin can. So if we really want to make Bitcoin a payment network that can compete with the best of them, with PayPal and Visa and Swift and all these other ones, we have to make it scalable to the point where it can handle as many transactions per second as they can. And in order to do that, we either need to make the transactions smaller or we need to make the blocks bigger. You can only make the transactions so small. It's almost like you can only cut expenses so much, but you can earn an unlimited amount of money. Like you could make the blocks bigger. And the reason the blocks were not bigger was, I guess there was just, when Satoshi was still involved with Bitcoin, the block size limit was set at 1 megabyte, and that was enough at the time, and then they never really changed it. Meantime, Satoshi disappears.
Right.
And leaves other people in charge of solving the problems of Bitcoin. So increasing the block size was an option that was on the table, but for various reasons, some people didn't want to do that. One of the arguments against increasing the block size was that this would create a large bloated blockchain that would be full of everybody's transactions. And do we really need every little cup of coffee that's bought with Bitcoin anyway on the blockchain? Does everybody really need to have a copy of that on their computer? Do we really need to be hosting a 50, 60, 100, 200, 400 gigabyte blockchain on everybody's computer if they want to run a full node, which is basically if they want to have a full copy of the blockchain and verify transactions? So there was that argument. There was also the bandwidth that it takes to download that many transactions. Not everybody has that fast internet infrastructure. And so will it create sort of a centralizing effect where not everybody is really, where hosting a full copy of the blockchain is not really accessible to everybody? There was that concern.
Now, because I know that this is a very big debate and there are lots of arguments on both sides.
Yes.
And I think it's really good that you're trying to sort of summarize the two sides. But to kind of give a basic overview, what I take from what you're saying is Bitcoin grew, transactions grew owing to this technical limitation.
Yes.
And so you ended up with a situation where you have high transaction fees and you have one camp that says, yeah, we have high transaction fees, but that's just, you're going to have to suck it up because we want to keep Bitcoin the way it is. And you have another camp that says we have high transaction fees and that's a big problem and we need to change Bitcoin in order to address this problem. And that seems to be where we got to at the beginning of 2017 when sort of people started talking about actually making some changes, right?
That's kind of it, but it's not really the whole picture. So there's more arguments that come into play.
Right.
So I explained the whole concern about the blockchain becoming too big, basically, and the concern about being able to process the number of transactions needed to compete with major payment networks, right? Okay, so then you get some ulterior motives are starting to come out as well. So as you mentioned, Jake, there were some people who were saying Bitcoin is meant to be a system where it's hard to reach a consensus, where it's hard to make major changes. Changes are dangerous. It's like flying a $20 billion airplane and trying to do repairs in midair instead of landing the plane. And so there's that argument that it's dangerous to make big changes to Bitcoin. On the other hand, you had people saying, well, Satoshi always said that there may need to be a block size increase from the beginning, but Satoshi bowed out of the project before that could really happen. So this is really not a major change. This is something that was always sort of part of Satoshi's vision, so it shouldn't be a big deal to upgrade. Now, there's a company that's been around for probably since, I think, 2015, I would say, called Blockstream, that happened to employ a lot of the Bitcoin core developers. Now, Bitcoin being an open source project, almost pretty much anyone can be a core developer if they contribute code to it. But there were a group of people that had been actively contributing code. And this company, Blockstream, started employing a lot of them. Blockstream, as a company, is working on building technologies called sidechains and also a Lightning Network or payment channels that basically would use the blockchain as a settlement layer. And what that means is that the transactions, like when you buy a cup of coffee or something with Bitcoin, that would happen on private servers of companies, not on the blockchain. Just the company would settle up with the blockchain at the end of the day. So the blockchain is being used to do gross settlements of transactions instead of each individual fine transaction. Does that make sense? So basically, Blockstream, as a company, their corporate incentives are aligned with keeping the blocks small. They don't want bigger blocks because they don't want every Bitcoin transaction to be written down on the blockchain. They want the blockchain to be used basically as a settlement layer. So one could argue that they have an incentive to keep the blocks small, right? On the other hand, you have people who, like Roger Ver and Jihan Wu, who are very vocal about, no, we need to have an increase in the block size. The original vision for Bitcoin was that all the transactions would happen on blockchain. That was what Satoshi said. Also, Roger was very concerned about censorship in certain subreddits and the Bitcoin forums that were all controlled by somebody who was apparently against increasing the block size and wasn't even allowing discussion of it. So that was a big thing. Roger Ver, of course, is known as Bitcoin Jesus. He was a very early promoter of Bitcoin, an entrepreneur, and introduced a lot of people to Bitcoin, including myself, actually. Right. He's credited me with introducing him to Bitcoin before, but I think it was the other way around. I think I heard about Bitcoin from him. Anyway, Roger has been a vocal evangelist for Bitcoin, bought the domain bitcoin.com. That's a big, powerful force. Jihan is basically, I think, the head of a very large mining consortium of miners or mining pool, and basically has a controlling interest in an incredibly large stake of the mining power in the world. So holds a lot of power in that way. And so they sort of got together and also, people who agreed with them and were saying no, we really need to raise the block size. Let's at least talk about this. Roger, I think, funded or put together a team and tried to introduce a proposal called Bitcoin Unlimited that would increase the block size to unlimited on a sliding scale. That had some technical issues, but eventually Roger funded or put together a team that created Bitcoin Cash, which a lot of people have heard about. That was the first major so-called hard fork. That was the divorce that happened within Bitcoin between the small blockers and the big blockers in late July or August 1st of this year, 2017. So, okay, that was a lot of information to take in, but basically, here's the summary of what's going on with Bitcoin scaling. As Bitcoin has gotten more popular, the current Bitcoin software has not had the room to accommodate all the Bitcoin transactions that people want to do. As a result, fees have gone up, wait times have gone up, and consumers or people who use Bitcoin have generally become frustrated with that. It also makes it a lot harder for merchant adoption. There's been an argument between people who want to keep the size of the blocks or the pages in the ledger small, and those who want to increase the size of the blocks. There's a lot of complicated technical and philosophical issues at play there, but this has been a fight that's been going on for years and years with not much actually happening within Bitcoin until just recently this year, which you may have heard of if you're sort of an average user. You may have heard that on August 1st, you would have twice as many coins than you started out with, right? Well, what that was basically up until that point, there was a snapshot that was taken of the blockchain on August 1st, 2017. And at that point, there was another blockchain that split off from the main chain. And that was called Bitcoin Cash. And so anyone who had Bitcoin in an address on August 1st now had Bitcoin Cash on the new blockchain. And so you could redeem that by importing your private keys corresponding to those addresses into another wallet software that supports Bitcoin Cash. And that's basically the explanation of the fork that just happened. Now, there's other forks
coming up.
Yeah, coming up. The one that is imminent, right, with Bitcoin 2x. And then there was another one called Bitcoin Gold, which I didn't really follow very, very closely. But the point is, if you've had Bitcoin before this summer, and probably it'll continue to be true in the future because there'll be more forks, there's the opportunity for you to have additional coins that you could get access to.
Right, provided that you held your Bitcoins in a particular way and not on an exchange or something like that.
Yeah, well, supposedly, even if you did hold them on an exchange, the exchange would have a copy of your private key, and they should give you access to your coins that they were custodially holding for you.
Right.
Now, as far as implementing that technically, for example, when the Bitcoin Cash fork happened, people were freaking out because they had coins in Coinbase. Now, Coinbase is a popular exchange. They act almost as a Bitcoin bank. I would say they behave a lot like a bank, and they control the private keys. And so, when Bitcoin Cash forked, there was a lot of questions as to, okay, is Coinbase going to give me my Bitcoin Cash? Because they control it. At first they said they wouldn't. At first they said, yeah, we're not going to give it to you. Then they reversed their position and said, okay, actually we will, but not right now because we don't have the technical support for it. So we'll figure out a way to do it like sometime before the end of the year, essentially. So this is an argument for holding your own private keys and using wallet software to store your own Bitcoins that lets you be your own bank, control the private keys so that a situation like this doesn't occur.
Right. I think that's a very good summary, and I know it's a very complicated issue.
Very complicated.
I also know that there are deep philosophical and economic and other arguments on both sides about changing Bitcoin. But I think the interesting thing, and I don't want to actually, I don't have a position on whether or not the block size should be increased because I definitely don't know enough about Bitcoin. And I don't want to go too far into that debate because I think also what's relevant from a user perspective is what does it all mean for you as a user? And one of the interesting things I think is that sort of a while back when we started talking about this, there was a lot of fear about, one of the problems with Bitcoin is how do you know that Bitcoin will be the